Not yet. I haven't had enough of it yet. Although I was really annoyed because I was at the Danbury location. We just merged. We merged. We were Health Quest on the New York side, and then we merged with Western Connecticut Health System. And their IT guys were drinking beer. I'm like, what?
Whoa.
Okay, we've had a hard day. Like, okay, what? What? If I didn't have to drive all the way back to New York, I would had one myself. So I was quite disappointed. And they're like, yeah, we do it all the time. I'm like, oh.
So you've been on the wrong side of that merger the whole time, it sounds like.
Well, I'm always on the wrong side, Doug. I am always on the wrong side.
All right.
So, Doug, can you get me toilet paper, man? Because you're a buyer out there, right? Can you get some TP out this way?
How many pallets you need?
I want to sell it, man. Give me like 30 pallets so I can make some money.
You okay with that single ply goodness?
If it was 2-ply, I was just going to separate it to make a single ply.
Why doesn't that
The
surprise
hardest
me
thing
that
for
you
me
would
to
do
get
that?
right now is like hand sanitizer, oddly enough.
Yeah. We've been going through a ton of that.
Yeah, like sanitizer went bye-bye, alcohol swabs went bye-bye. Everything just domino effects. And one runs out, they
Right.
land on the next one, and it's just pandemic.
So what's the next fad? Toilet paper and hand sanitizer are done. What's next?
Well, the hand sanitizer actually makes sense. The toilet paper is the one that never made sense to begin with. Toilet paper ain't going to cure you or keep you clean or healthy. As far as this illness, I don't know what's going on. Like, you would think people would stockpile rational things like canned food, water, medical supplies, but no. Quilted Northern, Charmin. That's what the people want.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah, right when this started, I went into a local grocery store, and the whole toilet paper section was gone, except like a king size, like 30-pack Charmin. I was like, oh, that's perfect. So I just grabbed that, and I'm set for like life with that thing, man.
There you go.
I didn't even mean to like stock up. It was just there, so I picked it up.
Perfect.
I needed it
Perfect
anyways.
timing.
Yeah, this tree beside me was running out of leaves, so had to stock up.
See, all these people. I don't know if you guys noticed, but all these stores now are putting no returns on napkins, paper towels, and toilet paper, because
As if there was a return policy to begin with. Other stuff.
Well, people are getting busted for trying to sell this on the side.
Come on.
Amazon's pulling it off, So
as they should.
Well, so here's the thing. So after this is, in another week or so, I say give it another week, and you'll be able to go into a store and get toilet paper or whatever. These people have enough toilet paper for their grandkids after they passed on. That's the nonsense of it.
I think it was taken a little too far.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to take the virus serious. I get it. But it's not a digestive virus. We'll leave it at that, right?
Hey, Charmin is making a killing. You buy their stock.
Did you
Are
buy
they publicly traded?
Yeah. I was going to say, I would question somebody that's like potentially, investing all their money in toilet paper company to begin with. That sounds like a questionable, stock advice.
Yeah. Honey, everyone's got to wipe their ass. Come on, we can do this. Come on.
So guys that are joining us, I just want to let you know, we talked to David before the pre-show and before we flip the cameras on. He's willing to divulge anything and everything. So tell your friends, get him out here. He said John D gave him the green light. So.
Yep.
Actually, how's this going to work? How's this going to work? Because David always had the button on John. And he was always hitting the button and cutting him off. Did John have one for David?
David has a
It's
backup.
a two-way switch.
No, David has a backup. Tell him what you told me.
Oh, yeah. So John's in San Francisco right now, so he's on lockdown. He can't get to the server. So I'm a free reign right now. I can do whatever I want. Unless Scott calls me, then we'll have problems.
But Scott will end up coming into chat room. He'll just end up telling you in there.
Yeah. They're both good. I love them. I love watching their interviews because they do everything I wish I could but can't.
Yeah, so, they get free reign.
So I don't know if Glenn just think Glenn just disconnected. Yep, he's
Yep.
back.
Yeah, I found out what the problem was.
You were uploading torrents?
No, my sponsor, NordVPN. You know, got to stay protected.
Oh, I knew you were like cutting in and out, and you never cut in and out.
Yeah, I was going between here and Beijing and Hong Kong and Idaho and back to you guys.
So,
all right, so I'm seeing a few questions. You guys want to tackle some of these? Zohar's asking if we can read them. So yeah, we can see that guy. Gabe's asking if we're coming out with Universal Pinball. Hasn't been announced, but there's some pictures floating around. Product release is still on. We canceled our GDC announcements. We had some really cool stuff we were going to show off there. Something that would really change the game, but you know, no pun intended. It's just something that we decided to push back strategically, you know, with the global pandemic and all taking place. It actually gives us more time to work with our product development team and fine tune these products. Because as you guys know, when we show these things at trade shows, it's, you know, early prototypes. So we're getting really close to final development on this stuff. And it doesn't mean we're not going to announce it in the near future. Just it's not happening, you know, today, unfortunately. So, you know, I hate to burst the bubble, but there won't be any product announcements today, but I can definitely address any questions you guys have regarding current products or products we've shown at any recent shows.
Can you at least talk a little bit about Double Dribble?
Bubbles.
I mean, about bubbles, please.
Bubbles.
Is that the one where you're like shooting the little bubbles and stacking them? Yeah.
You're
Don't make fun of it.
You guys should know.
Don't make fun of it, because Glenn gets upset.
I do.
You see, I'm the wrong guy for these leaks. I get to see the product roadmap for like 2-3 months. So if something gets leaked, it's not me who leaks it. They only show the marketing guy just enough information, so you know things don't get too far out of hand.
We figured it couldn't be you leaking it, because as a marketing guy, you would have taken better pictures than what was out on the internet. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, I told the guy, if you're gonna leak my pictures, please put your thumb halfway across the lens.
Right.
And turn the lights off.
And use a camera phone from like 10 years ago.
iPhone 4.
Yeah.
What's wrong with a 10-year-old camera?
Oh, here we go.
I mean, once again, just because it's old doesn't mean it's not usable. It's better to have it and take a picture than not have it and not take a picture.
Would you call those options, Glenn?
Yes, I would. I would rather have those options.
Flip phone.
So guys, we will have there is a few news articles that we'll hit right in the beginning, but yeah, make sure you highlight myself, David, or Glenn or Doug if you have a specific question, because otherwise the chat room's going to fly by on both YouTube and Facebook, and we're going to miss it. We'll have to go back at the end of the show. But if you do that, you'll be able to get one of our attention, and we'll just be like, "Shut up," and then answer the question.
So, David, we got a question in the YouTube chat from Unqualified Critics. He says, "Where can we get that Champion Pac-Man hoodie, that crossover combo?"
Yeah, so this is a here. I'll try and plug it right now. This is a Champion Bandai collaboration. It's a sick hoodie. You can go. I think here I'm gonna go to check it up right now. I think it's champion.com. It ships US across the US. I think it's like $75. It's a really great hoodie, top quality as Champion always delivers, but with a nice twist. Sorry, it's hard to show, of like the Champion or the Bandai Pac-Man twist on it. It's a sweet hoodie. I actually wanted the hat too, but they gave that one to Scott. So, you know, pecking order and all. But it's a great hoodie.
CEO has his privileges.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, hey, that hat looks sick. I'd love it. They're like, yeah, there's only one left, and your boss wants it. I was like, okay. Maybe next time. Do you guys ship to Canada? Answer's yes, but because of what's going on right now, I couldn't snag one. They may be sold out. But yeah, definitely get this hoodie, champion.com. We actually did a collab with them on a custom machine. Check out their social media. It looks really cool. It was just a one-off to help promote their collaboration. They asked us to do some fancy stuff for our Pac-Man unit, but you know, we didn't really promote it too heavily ourselves. Just something we did in collaboration with Bandai and Champion. You know, they're really strong partners of ours, and any opportunity we get to work with them, we'll definitely take them up on it. Oh, there you go. These guys are good. This is like a top quality production here.
Yeah, except this is giving me all stupid ads on this
Pop-ups.
site.
Ads.
Yeah, I was trying to get a close up because David was saying he had a hard time showing it, but there you go. I didn't see it on their website.
Yeah, so they got hoodies. Oh, maybe they're sold out. It was a limited time. It was a limited run, so it could be done now. But I'm telling you right now, it's my favorite hoodie. Even my girlfriend tries to steal it from me every now and then. Definitely a favorite in the household. They have hoodies, hats. John D has a nice crew neck. No hoodie, like no hood on it, but their sweatpants he also got. Some accessories as well. It was a sick collaboration. It's really cool to see like retro and modern trendy brands kind of revive themselves, and like Champion is a great example. And tying in the Pac-Man on the sea is actually a really cool design they did. So yeah,
So
really,
this is
really happy to have been a part of that in some way, shape, or form.
So this is right on the website here. It doesn't look like they have the hoodie that you have. Let's click on this. They do have this. The crew neck.
That's the one John D has. Yeah.
Okay. But they don't. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like they have the hoodie where you can buy it because it says add to favorites or email. So.
Oh, it's probably sold out. Yeah, it was really hot. Like I'm telling you, when I went to go get that hat, they literally, the one you're hovering over right now.
Yep.
It was the last one they had at that store location.
But they have this.
So yeah, it's a big.
There you guys go. You can get a raincoat.
Little raincoat.
Well, yeah, because if people sneeze,
Yeah.
it'll protect you from the coronavirus. So it doubles. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I can't. I wouldn't.
I think the
confirm
price just
that.
went
You
up.
don't want to be. Yeah. You don't want to be liable for that.
No. I'm not saying it's going to protect you. So
Well, first of all, we're on the internet. We all know everything's truthful on the internet, so
That's right.
he's okay.
That's right. All right. Speaking of
True.
truthful,
Very true.
let's start the show. I think we're good here. We can get into this and we'll get ready to go. So we're going to go dark, get the intro running. We'll be right back, guys.
The Retro Buzz starts right after this.
Hey guys, we're live for the Friday show that we always do, the Retro Buzz. And let me look around here. No, he's not wearing a mask right now. He's
Not
just
this time.
He's sitting in a chair.
My Captain Kirk chair.
Yeah, but
Look,
you
I can
never
swivel.
you never do that.
I don't.
But
And I got my new little baby next to me too.
ooh. We'll get back to that in a little bit, but we've got Mr. Glenn Planamento. We've also got Mr. Cool Toy today. We've got Douglas Smith. He's there. It's all ready to go. And before we introduce our guest, we have a little bit of a real quick some announcements to go over for some of you guys out there in the At Games community. There's going to be a brand new firmware that's going to drop tonight. From at least that's what I was being told. That's going to fix the Tron leaderboard. And you're like, well, big deal. Why are you announcing this? This is, the reason being is there's going to be a new Tron leaderboard that will be live starting March 21st at 12:01 a.m. Pacific time. Also at the same time, the Tron Top Score Tournament kicks off. It'll end Sunday, March 22nd at 11:59 p.m. and the top 10 score placers will win free BYOG hours. So make sure you guys check that out if you're a Legends user and you want to get out there. And I know Glenn's probably going to sign up, Mr. Tron himself, right?
Actually, it's a great game. I love it, but I'm not great at it. Typical for me. I'm not great at that game. My game is always asteroids. Of course, Pong. Go way back to Pong. Gotta like Pong.
Doug, are you gonna attempt to go down the road and compete?
Well, see, when you first said they were going to fix the Tron leaderboards, I assume you meant fixed in the context of they were going to put Glenn up top just because he demanded it. So it was going to be a rigged leaderboard.
Well, that could be very
yeah.
possible. So
Hearing that Glenn is not as great as Tron as he potentially led others to believe, I'm absolutely gunning for him now.
well, if you've ever played fighting games with him, you'll know he's not very good.
I slap at the best of them.
He did. But along with everything else in the world, there's really not a lot of news. But I did find out, guys, that the TurboGrafx 16, they actually have a date placeholder. Now, that doesn't mean, I get it, they have December 31st of this year as the release date. But Doug, I think you and I both think that it is just a placeholder date to show more and more, get more and more pre-orders. But are you thinking maybe 2 to 3 months we'll maybe see that hit the Amazon shelf?
I would think so. I mean, with it already was supposed to be here, on our doorsteps now, it already had the stock ready to go. So I think maybe 2-3 months max is the delay, and that's presuming this pandemic that's going on in the world kind of subsides and kind of mellows out and things kind of go to a pseudo normal thing. But yeah, 2 to 3 months, I think we'll see it back up, and we'll probably have it on our doorsteps hopefully.
And I Glenn, you have had me looking all over Tarnation for a original, and I have yet to find it. But I did get a good deal on a Sega Genesis. So
you did.
Well,
the TurboGrafx 16 or any of them are hard to come by regardless. And if you find one, they're expensive. You had to get a good deal. If you show you a picture of that thing, your Sega Genesis you got for what you paid, you got a very good deal. And the only question I had for you was, it's definitely a first gen run unit, but it does have the lockout chip. On the back of it, is there like a 9-pin Atari joystick style connector? Because that would mean it's the second revision of the original Genesis. If you don't have that 9-pin on the back, that's the third version of the Sega Genesis.
Well, it looks
Gen
like
1.
there's a VGA type adapter thingy on
That's
the back.
It. Good. Okay. So you have the first run that has the lockout chip, or the licensing chip, as they like to call it. But it's a lockout chip. So that's fine. It's still got the better sound, which is what really matters. The Sega Genesis, as they got newer models out, the sound went right down the toilet. It got worse with each version. But that one, the sound should be fine in it, and you should be enjoyable. It's in good condition with the controllers that you got for that price. You got a good deal.
$35 system, 3 controllers, 3 games, shipped to my door.
Yeah, it's a very good deal.
Can't beat it.
Very good deal.
So I'm pretty stoked with it. Even though I had one that has like the all-in-one and you can put the cartridges in and everything like that, but I wanted an official one. But somebody else that's also in this space, we have a special guest with us today. He's been patiently waiting, and
Who could it be?
John does not have his finger on the trigger. He reassured us that. We've got with us Mr. David McIntosh from Arcade 1-Up. Welcome, sir.
David's in the house.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, guys. Really excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you on here. And, you guys have been feeling kind of like the depressing scenario that we've all been facing with some of our pre-orders from other video game outlets. Unfortunately, you guys are facing that same problem. A lot of conferences have been canceled. You guys didn't get to blow the roof off of a lot of your announcements, but you're still keeping a positive attitude, which is really cool.
Thank you. Yeah. With all these events canceling, it's definitely shifting our strategy, but by no means is it going to take the thunder away from our announcements. We just have to, strategically think how we're going to do that moving forward.
Yeah, everything's going online. Glenn's online. Doug's on. We're all practicing social distancing right now.
You definitely want to practice it for me at this point.
So have you seen, David, any kind of delays on, I guess the Burger Time cabinet is the big one, right? That's the one that's been shipping. I've seen pictures all over social media that the product has been shipping. People have been receiving it on time. Is it still going as planned, even though the pandemic is here?
Yeah, so right before this call, I was on the phone with my logistics team to confirm what I can and can't say. But things overseas are actually, in what their words, clearing up slightly. So Factories are starting to go back up, and businesses are starting to open up again. So we're actually rolling out a lot of our pre-orders, Burger Time being one of them. And we're actually almost out. So yes, to your question, things were slightly impacted in terms of once they got to the port, it took them longer to unload the boat. Just, they had to check them or whatever they do with these quarantined goods. Like, I have no idea what that process is. It just took an extra day or two for them to look at it, open it up, say everything's good. But besides that, everything's going business almost as usual in terms of like logistics. We are hitting a snag right now with risers. I know somebody commented on one of the posts when you introduced this live stream, asking about what the status was on some risers because they're starting to deplete. That's an example of something that's also being impacted with California's ports and everything starting to close down. We are having an issue in our warehouse as well. We are having an issue receiving some goods. So there will be some delays in terms of parts and stuff, but so far it hasn't been too impactful on the business overall.
So maybe this might be conspiracy theory, but guys, what do you think? The same people that are hoarding the toilet paper are hoarding the risers. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying. But personally, I think the risers
build a throne for their toilet paper.
See?
Just build a massive mound, get your risers, and you've got this castle of toilet paper.
I'm just saying. Listen, the risers are more important in my opinion.
I believe it.
Yeah? So you think there's some truth to that, right?
You never know. Honestly, I didn't understand the toilet paper. The hand sanitizer I got, but I do see a correlation with the risers. It's just like, right before this kind of started kicking off, we saw like a spike in sales. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have retailers now asking, they're putting in their purchase orders earlier than they normally would, because we're seeing people building their own man caves, like their at-home game rooms for extended periods of time in social isolation. When we posted the warehouse closure announcement on social, probably the top 5-10 comments were like, yeah, you know what? Like, we're just getting more of these machines at our house, to make the most of this situation. You can't really do anything but embrace it. So you may as well make it, a solid experience to, the extent that you can. So with the risers, we saw a lot of risers and general arcade machine sales spike and continue to do very strong in terms of sales. And it's actually kind of, expediting our vision almost of putting these arcade, units or these arcade experiences into people's homes, because people are realizing, the 1%ers who can afford it, they're putting pools and tennis courts in their backyards or in their property. And, the middle class, they're putting arcade machines in their house, different forms of entertainment. So we're definitely seeing a huge transition of mindset, but also preparation for what's going on right now.
So P-Dub has a really good question in the YouTube channel chat. He said, do you guys plan on making more risers, or now is the business model switching over, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, to the risers coming complete with the arcade? Is that something that, for users that maybe just want the $2.99 arcade without the riser, they could still get it? Or is the business model switching over to now you get a complete riser graphic package for $4.99?
There's a few different thought processes on this. We're actually not we're not set on what the answer is. If the community wants them separate, we'll make them separate, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones who are supporting us. You supported the Burger Time, the Marvel, all the direct-to-consumer tests we've done to date, meaning selling units directly ourselves, not through retailers, have proven a success solely by our hardcore fan base, not the general Walmart consumer. Not that you guys are different or treated differently, but we found that the sell-through we're getting right now is significant enough to, if you guys say we don't want a riser, just like you said, we'd rather this be Burger Time, not Karate Champ, we have the ability to implement those changes, as long as it's like 3 or 4 months out before we ship the goods. And then the other mindset we have is price points. We want to have a tiered price point system in a perfect world where the entry-level consumer could try one of these out for $2.99. Somebody who's more into these can get like an average version with the riser, and somebody who's really into like the modding side of things, or having like that really polished looking unit, can get the bells and whistles included, whether it's a light up marquee, the Sanwa buttons and joysticks, and and now we're rolling out the light up deck protector, stuff like that. So we're hoping to implement a tiered system. I would, for my perfect world, there would be various different tiers, but that could also change depending on consumer demand and retailer demand.
What do you
Another
get?
question that popped in real quick from Zohar, super chat. Basically wants to know, David, will Arcade One re-release any of the older cabinets with better sticks, better sound, better features, specifically Mortal Kombat?
He doesn't want a lot, does he?
No, just a couple questions.
No, just Mortal Kombat. I actually don't, my team keeps telling me yes, but I've heard that answer for like 6 months now. So, I'm told it'll eventually happen, but that comes back to like the retailer demand. So retailers are coming to us and said, hey, this particular unit, Street Fighter, Pac-Man, Mortal Kombat, they did really well. We'd like to introduce more of them. And just by default, as the years have gone on, our products got better. So screens, less, what do they call that when you like it bleeds when you go over to the side, fades? I'm not entirely sure what
Light
the
bleed.
terminology.
Yeah, light bleed.
Yeah, light bleed. We omitted that. We upgraded some of our buttons from day one, joysticks, and deck protectors implementation, customizers, etc. So the answer in theory is yes, but I personally, I don't know what my sales team has negotiated with retailers as of right now, so I don't know which titles in particular. I think Mortal Kombat will be one of them, Street Fighter likely as well. I'm not entirely sure which of the Wave 1 titles are for sure going to happen, and if they do, probably Q4 of this year. If this situation resolves itself in the next couple months, that's likely what's going to happen.
Hey, Doug, Eminem has a question for you to ask David there in the YouTube.
It says, when will Arcade 1-Up make their own light-up marquees? Will they make them for all games? So I know there's probably some people out there looking for older Generation 1 light-up marquees, but they're looking to see just officially, can they buy light-up marquees separately?
Yeah, we want to implement those. I think right now Scott's making the decision, do retailers want it? Do we want to sacrifice the shelf space we have to roll these out? Because you got to imagine the amount of SKUs we have, how much shelf space that would take up. And, in the space of 6 of these light up marquees, you could probably fit another SKU of arcade machines. So from a business perspective, especially with retail space being so limited in today's day and age, it's tough to make that call. So if we do it, which I know the team's planning on doing it, it'll probably be direct to consumer on our own website. And I'm not entirely sure if it's going to cover the full range or, just the most popular titles. But the solution that I've seen so far will be able to retrofit to an existing machine. So if you bought Wave 1 Pac-Man, you'll likely be able to buy a Wave 1 Pac-Man light up marquee upgrade, hopefully soon. And that's probably Q4 if they do it this year.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And Glenn, you have is that just, I'm sorry, I just saw your name was highlighted. I don't know if that's go ahead.
Yeah,
I did. No, I did.
Very resounding compliment.
Go ahead.
I can't read it to myself. That'll make my head this big. I can't read it to myself. I need Doug. You got to read it. You got to read it.
All right, I'll read it.
Go ahead,
Glenn,
Doug.
this is from Zohar. This is another super chat. It says, Glenn, I love your global fan page on Facebook. I think you're a genius to bring communities together like that. We need that right now. Thank you.
Oh, there we go.
Wait, I'm trying. Hold on, I'm trying. I'm trying. It's getting bigger, but I'm trying to hold it in. I am.
We'll let Glenn.
Thanks, Zohar. I appreciate it.
We'll let Glenn's head deflate for a little bit. We'll do a quick plug for us here, and we're, like I said, we're not really making anything on this, but you guys asked for it. We've got Retro Buzz t-shirts. There's probably about like 10 of you guys that have ordered this already, so thank you for those that already ordered it. And I'm going to be completely transparent with you. $2 is made for every shirt so far, and they're at a really cheap price right now. That money I'm going to take and put into, people have asked for the embroidered hats. It's kind of like my Tech Buzz one that I wear, but we're going to get a Retro Buzz. It's $50 to get the screen made for the embroidery. So all that money is going to be put back into that. So we're essentially, I've already talked to the guys. We're making nothing on it. We don't want to make any money off of it. But you can come on here and you can pick any color that you want. Whether you want that's the front. The back has
the best part
the
is the pictures look so much better.
And yes,
I'm a human.
And Glenn does not look like a look. I'll zoom in. Glenn doesn't look like he was punched in the face by Mike Tyson. See,
or Doug, one of the two.
Hey, I'm not a violent person. I'm a passive.
Well,
so there's some other
it could
stuff.
have been just you practicing,
You can get hoodies, you can get stickers, kids shirts, mugs, all different colors. We have that available if you go to the techbuzz.net/store, or you can go to tpublic.com/ I think it's the Retro Buzz or it's the Tech Buzz. I'm not sure, but it says the Retro Buzz store that you can go in. And like I said, we wanted to find a place that was inexpensive to make these shirts, right? So, people aren't paying an arm and a leg for a shirt. And
That's right. As a matter of fact, right now they're actually cheaper than buying toilet paper. So it's a bargain.
You may have to use it as toilet paper one day, but hey, we can't do that. We can't say that. But so, David, I've got a question for you in regards to the Arcade 1-Up. Where you've heard this on other shows. We've talked about it with John D in nauseum. But for me, running out of room for the arcades, what I'd really like to see, and I don't know if this is something on the and if the community agrees, I'd like to see some special edition type cabinets, something that has special edition markings on them that kind of become like a collector's type of a cabinet, kind of not like the Marvel, because the Marvel was just like a certificate. Nobody would walk into your game room and know that it's a limited edition, but something that just kind of screams limited edition, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're working on stuff. I don't want to give anything away, but essentially, you'll look at a unit that's in the marketplace, and there'll be noticeable differences. And actually, one of our new titles will probably roll out with that in the next 3 to 6 months. So we hear you. It'll scream collector's piece. It'll have its own, features. I'm trying to think how to say it without saying it, but it'll definitely have a point of difference where you'll look at it and you'll say, okay, that's a rare piece of machinery right there. It'll be like the Ferrari of Arcade 1-Ups, the next level up.
Is
sure.
is that is that in relation to
the Tech Buzz cabinet? That's a Tech Buzz cabinet. They say it. I spilled beans on it.
The P-Dubs. P-Dub wants to know if you can elaborate on this whole light up deck protector. Am I reading that right there, guys, on YouTube?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our NBA, I think it's the $4.99 version. It's gonna have NBA, all the Frogger and Pac-Man 40th. There's gonna be versions that have light up deck protectors. So when you have your arcade room on dim lighting, just like most people do, Steven, your arcade room is probably the best example of that, how it's always like blue and dark, but you'll be able to see the light up marquee, it'll glow, and then you'll be able to see the deck protector, just kind of like the third arcade in the third machine in there. It'll just emit light. It'll just add an extra to the control panel, and it'll be easier to see the buttons as well and the joystick. So if you're gaming in the dark like a lot of you guys do, it'll just add that extra spark to the point of having points of difference on our units. That'll be a significant one.
Okay, another thing that we see here in the chat room from Cursed Existence, wanted to remind David to spill the SDCC19 story that John D says is very funny.
I actually have that written down on my paper here to hammer him with that.
David doesn't seem too excited about it.
It's hard because there's a fine line you walk as like a PR guy where what you can and can't say.
Dude,
so
tonight
there's just so many parts of that story that I probably couldn't say.
It's just S3.
It's just we're just sitting here chilling.
No one else here.
Yeah, or you could just do air quotes and say allegedly. Live.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go into full on PR here. Just let it loose. Scott's in there. He ain't gonna care.
Right. So I'll try and make like a PG-13 version of this story. So this was recently.
You got to do it like John D.
In John D. How? Oh yeah, no rules. Okay, that's how.
No rules.
There it is. Come
Where's
on.
my jewel? Hang on, I'm just gonna get my vaporizer really quick. I'm kidding. So John and I had worked together for a couple months prior to this outing, but it was our first real night of getting to know each other and kind of bonding as colleagues. So we went out and just had a great time. We went to various different parties in San Diego throughout Comic-Con, and needless to say, he can hold his alcohol a lot better than I can. So after venturing out in the evening and parts of the night not being fully clear, the next morning at the booth, I showed up, I don't know, I think the show started at 9 a.m. And I'm talking to my friends, and I was just like, hey, or like, sorry, my colleagues, and I was like, hey, like, have you guys seen John? They're like, no, not yet. I don't think he's up yet. And I was like, oh God, it was so strange. Like, I went out to the bar with him. You know, I couldn't. I got kicked out of one of them, and then I tried to get back in, and he just left me, man. The guy left me high and dry. He went out to party with all the people we were with, and he, you know, he just fully ditched me. Like, I thought we were good buddies, you know. And anyway, so I felt sick to my stomach. Hang on. So I felt sick to my stomach at this point. I went to the washroom. I came back after like 20 minutes, and they're like, hey, John just swung by, but his story's a little different than yours. So what happened was, apparently I had gone to the bar. They didn't let me in for appropriate reasons, I presume. And then he had walked me back to the hotel and said, hey, buddy, this is it. Like, you know, go to your room. I think you've had a good enough night. And I didn't know he dropped me off at the hotel. So I walked for probably 20 blocks, got lost in San Diego, and had to take a cab back. And all the while, he had dropped me off at the hotel that I needed to be at in the first place. Throughout that journey, you know, the 20-block walk I had taken, I, you know, met strangers, became friends with these guys at a different bar. Like, it was a crazy, crazy, crazy night. So yeah, that was really that's the PG version of the story without going too far into the details. But it was a great time. That was the first time I got to know him, and
Like,
we pretty
I
much
guess
did that.
that's a good PSA. Anytime you're going out drinking with John D, be careful.
You'll never know where you end up.
Yeah, the guy's a good time. He's a. If you ever want a good time, whatever event you're at with John D, ask him to take you out, and you either won't remember or it'll be one you can't forget.
Oh my, we got some super chats here to get through. Glenn or Doug, you guys want to hit that up?
So Daniel May says, when will we see new cabs in Australia? Any updates on worldwide?
Good day, mate.
Yeah, so we're currently working with a distributor in Australia. No timing, because I've been asking for timing for the last couple months now, but the conversations are on, the orders are in. It's just a matter of when they get there, and we're trying to figure out. I know it sounds like easy to just send something to a different area, but you have to do different testing for different regions and different warranties and stuff like that. So the product needs to go through like retesting, and you know, we have to put different plugs on them, and it's a bit of a process. So it is taking place. Australia will be definitely getting some in the near future, but no timing. Probably, like, if I were a betting man, I'd say like 5 months roughly. Could be shorter, could be longer, but that's probably like the safe number.
They got to take those big Foster beer cans and those big daggers that they have out there. You know, that's not a knife. That's a knife. You got to be careful with that stuff on the cabinets.
That's funny. We had a few other ones. Somebody asked about Golden Axe time frame, and I know you're probably not going to be able to give a time frame, but if you had to estimate, if the virus wasn't here, what would have been your estimation?
Yeah, we were hoping for like a Father's Day launch on that thing. Probably not going to happen. Just to be candid with you guys, like every title that we showed at CES will probably be in stores by you know, holiday. That's like the safest bet you can say. But who knows? Like this whole global situation could go on for a longer time than we hope it will, and that could impact decision making. But so far, like, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the factories are still running right now, and the only issue is that we have a port in California that's just been closed, so that could impact things. But the company's so adaptive that I don't see it really impacting us significantly, unless, you know, this issue worsens for an extended period of time.
I think that's something.
Yeah, I'm hearing. Yep. I'm sorry, I just want to say real quick. I'm hearing from my people across the pond, or actually South Pond, anywhere in China, that factories are now at about 75-80% back to normal, but they're still not there yet. And and even at running at that capacity, they're still months behind. So they still have to do a lot of catch up, but they'll get there.
That's
exactly
what I was going to say to you, Glenn. People don't realize that even if we get back to normal, somewhat normal by mid-May, you're talking about possibly 6 months of backlog that they got to get through. So
right.
I think
absolutely.
David's spot on by saying like holiday this year, Christmas this year, somewhere around that time frame.
Right.
Because
And that's all still depends on if things don't come back in another wave. I mean, right now it's been good. We're still in the midst of it here, but there's no telling right now that this couldn't start up again in China and bring the factories back down to a close for a longer length of time. So it's going to be hard for Arcade One, for anybody to give any kind of dates at this point.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's
I mean,
where we're
David
at
could
with
be
it.
driving an 18-wheeler this summer for all we know. Like, all hands on deck. David would need you to go pick up a couple containers worth of product. How good are you driving a Peterbilt?
You got to sneak them across the border
Yeah,
from Mexico.
well,
Can you do that?
Yeah.
I prefer Mack trucks, but I'll get the job done if I need to. All hands on deck.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah, it really has been all hands on deck lately. Like each department is kind of spreading its wings and helping out as needed. With customer service being a part of the warehouse in California that's closing down. Myself and quite a few others are in different departments are helping out as needed. So it really is all hands on deck mentality, because we know consumer safety being number one priority, and then we have customer satisfaction as well, which is really close up there. So it's hard to balance the how do you keep somebody happy but also keep your team safe. So right now I'm in my house, and a lot of people are, because I'm based in Canada. It's actually going to be really difficult for me to travel, especially with US and the border situation happening right now. So it's definitely nerve-wracking, but the way the business is set up, we have teams almost in every like major city, so we're able to be agile and help out as needed. We just don't have a lot of toilet paper, that's all.
There was another super chat that came in from Zohar. If you re-release a limited edition version of Mortal Kombat, I would pay $500. No, I'll pay $600 if you can go with half sticks. So just another option out there if you guys do it. But again,
Dude,
even if
I'll build
you
you
buy the
one
Mortal
and sell it
Kombat,
to you
yeah,
for $600.
exactly. You can get a Mortal Kombat now, and you can put your own half sticks in. It's not a hard thing to do, but I understand what he's trying to say. He's just trying to say, hey, that's what I'm getting. It's just an option. I'm just laying out options.
Yeah.
Just like that.
No, I hear you. I'll build one myself and ship it to you for $600.
You got to sign it. You got to
that's a
sign
deal.
it too.
You got to sign it.
You got to sign it.
The
deal
David McIntosh
Yeah.
special.
That's it.
We got a question in the chat from
have
Pete.
really-
It says, David,
yeah,
will
go
you
ahead.
confirm how close you guys are to having 1 million cabinets sold? John D had mentioned it, but it retracted it a month ago, said that they were close. Maybe hadn't hit that mark yet. You guys, have you communicated with the sales department? Do you know if you guys have hit that magical, impressive number yet?
I didn't know we hadn't. I thought we had. It's if we hadn't, we're very close. It's definitely up there. But I don't know. I mean, I'm marketing. They don't really come to me with that stuff. They just say,
Jesus.
sell these goods, and I get to work.
Between
Yeah.
me, Steven, and Doug, and P Dubs, and Retro Ralph, we probably got you close to 1 million already.
Yeah.
Yep. True. Yeah, we're up there for sure. And if I think the reason John retracted it, because it may not have been there may have been sold. I think he's looking for a number sold through at retail versus sold in. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think we have exceeded that number. It's just a matter of
A true transacted
at the register.
amount.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
Gotta
I
have
think
that-
that's
gotta-
999,000 is still very impressive.
Yes,
So.
Yeah, yeah.
We got another question
the
from
team did a very
Unqualified
good job.
Critics as well. Unqualified Critics basically want to know if you guys ever considered adopting like a numbskull type of strategy, going a little bit smaller, on your desk type. I know you kind of do it with the, the Coleco mini case type of thing, but more of a arcade design in a slightly bigger, smaller yet bigger factor, I guess. Bigger than Coleco, smaller than your arcade one
Yes.
is at the moment.
Have you guys seen the new countercades we showed off at CES? Those are pretty, like, they're a tiny bit smaller than the original countercades, but those are going to be like the hottest item, I think, for us in terms of units sold, because they're going to be at like $100 retail price point versus the $200 countercades, and it's the same joystick button configuration, it's the same scale in terms of buttons and feel and play. The team just happened to redesign it in a very intelligent way to bring the cost down significantly. So I think that may be the solution you're looking for. And if not, we're always expanding into new categories, as you can see. I think at CES we announced like 6 products, but like 6 new product categories with various new products within each category as well. Like the company's going wild.
Are
This
those
is my product development team because I know they're watching.
kind of affected by the shipment also, or are we going to see those anytime soon? Because honestly, I'd like to get a Dig Dug one and put it up here on the, as part of like a in the show type thing, like I do with some of the other stuff that I have. For $100, I mean, like you said, that's going to be you can't beat that price. Is that something that's going to be coming soon, or?
And if you don't get it that soon, Doug could dig a hole for you too.
Yeah.
There you
Right?
go. Jack of all
Yeah,
trades.
jokes.
Yeah, those should be coming out soon. Probably next couple months, probably.
Cool.
Oh, sweet.
Things may change. Who knows? Like, I know for a
Sure.
fact they're on their way. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to get them from
That's
Arcade
like a
One up, or
You're a betting man.
do we go to Walmart, GameStop? What is that going to be, an Arcade One Up exclusive? What are we talking?
We got way too much buy-in from retailers on that item. The biggest feedback we had from retailers was the price point was a little high. You know what I mean? I'm sure we can all relate to that. I thought that, my product team thought that, but
Agreed.
at the end of the day, the cost for the unit, it was definitely up there. So our PD team went to work and just re-engineered the entire thing and found a way to bring the cost down. They looked at, different materials in terms of wood versus plastic just to really bring it down. But I don't know how they figured it out with wood, but they managed to get it. So, again, kudos to that team, and it would be available probably most major retailers. But I think one retailer is talking quantities to the point where they're maybe looking at exclusivity, but we don't know that yet. So to be determined.
And I misspoke for unqualified critics. I guess he was actually looking for the same scale, the same 3/4 scale you do now, but just much more arcade accurate is what he's really looking for. So the same form factor you make now, how are you considering making them much more realistic to the actual cabinet design of the arcade versus the generic design we've had in the past?
Yeah, I think you're seeing that with like Burger Time and Star Wars, Pac-Man 40th with the cabaret style side panels. I think it's like it's a goal of ours to get as close as possible, but you also need to have a differentiating factor as well, like what your unique selling proposition is in terms of like a market positioning. So you got to think, why would let's say, I'm not going to use any names, but like a traditional arcade manufacturer wants an exact replica at an eighth of the price. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta figure that there has to be some point of difference. But we do want to get it closer to arcade perfect, and I think you'll see with that special edition I was talking to you about coming down the pipeline with that really unique Ferrari-esque design and value. You'll start to see that too. And I apologize for the pitter patter. My dog's just running all over the place in my apartment right now.
No, you're.
Where's your dog? Let's see your dog. Where is he? What kind of dog?
I'll bring him up in just a sec. Hang on, I got a French bulldog.
Ah.
I'll be right back.
Meat bag.
Cut to commercial break.
With you guys in the chat room here, real quick, while David grabs his dog, you guys in the chat room on Facebook, if you've got questions, I know we're not catching everybody there, but if you can do like at the Tech Buzz or at Steven or at Doug or at Glenn, so that way we can make sure that we see them. We're seeing some on YouTube because some of the guys are doing super chats, which unfortunately there's no way to do that on Facebook. So just kind of put the @ symbol right before our name and it should come up. Or I don't know if David's even in Facebook. If he is, you can do that as well. But just want to kind of put that there so everybody kind of knows. But it looks like David's got his dog. There we go.
We got his dog. He's cute.
Oh,
There we go.
I'll bring him up.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there we go.
What's his name?
His name is Louis.
Louis.
Hey, buddy.
And
Louis.
now the views just
He's a good boy.
tripled because we have a dog on there.
That's it.
Yeah.
While you're holding your dog there,
He's a
we have
good
another
boy.
Zohar question about any chance of increasing the 17-inch screen size to like a 19 or bigger.
There will be a unit with a bigger screen down the road. I know that, but I can't, again, talk about it at the moment. It's just a project. We're working on expanding the screen size. I don't know if it'll be the same scale. I don't know if it'll be the same form factor, but we understand that screen size has been, one of the big comments. So the issue we have, right, is that we've made so many of these things that you get a fantastic deal using the same size screen. So to go into different markets, the price point would then have to increase. So it becomes one of those, for those of you who were here from the beginning of the show, when I talked about tiered arcade machines, it would probably become one of the top tier options if we ever do follow that business model.
I like that idea. I am one of those guys. I'll just be honest. Like, I have the Golden Tee and I have the Turtles that have, you know, the color risers and stuff. But I you know, going back, I see a lot of people asking about the riser shortage and everything like that. I'm kind of with them. I really like the black risers because all my other arcades have the black risers. I'm not one that, a lot of these guys are putting screens on them and putting graphics on them. I'm just kind of like, it looks good with the black. And my fear is, yeah, like this clown right here. Show that again. Yeah, like that. So you have something like that, and next thing you know, like I have a 7-year-old and I have an 11-year-old. How long before their foot goes right through that because they're sticking their foot on top of it? Or, well, if it's Glenn's face, they'll probably just like kick it in. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, that's my big fear with like even putting a graphic on it. My son has a tendency when he uses a stool over there, he sets his feet right on top of the riser, and then he'll kind of do this with his feet, and it could like peel the graphic. I don't know. Maybe I'm over paranoid, but I'm just.
Well, that's why they're called kick plates.
Well,
yeah, he
yeah,
kicks.
that's right.
He kicks him.
Yeah,
he does kick him, but he kicks the riser more than anything. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on that.
Can I throw in somehow into what you just said, having options? Can I work that into that somehow? It's nice to have the option to have that if you want it.
What, a generic riser, or Glenn's face on all the risers?
Glenn, that would be great, actually. I think you should. 'Cause people could kick my face all day long. It happens at work. Might as well happen when you're home playing as well. Just kick me in the face.
We got a super chat from Sean Powers. It says, David, will there be a Burger Time joystick fix? The 8-way is just so frustrating and annoying to play Burger Time.
Oh, that's sad to hear. Yeah, we'll have some stuff on that soon. We'll have some proper messaging to go out. We understand that that's an issue. We figured out it was an issue at CES and at Toy Fair, but at that point it had gone through the manufacturing process. So there definitely will be a solution in place in the near future. Thanks for hanging in there though, and we appreciate your support on the Burger Time unit. You'll be happy to hear what we have to say in the next couple days.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
John here is asking about the drunken San Diego Comic-Con story. He missed it, unfortunately. John, I told the PG-13 version.
So, John, if you want to come in at the post show and tell us the R-rated version, please join us at the post show.
Oh.
David's like, no.
Well, hey, he can do whatever he wants. That's the thing. That guy doesn't have any
filter,
any training wheels on him, so he can do as he pleases. Yeah.
So what about the pinball? Let's talk pinball a little bit.
Yes.
So
let's do it.
How, obviously, again, this is all impacting the pinball. Is it likely? I mean, because I know you guys, if I'm not mistaken, that was kind of like a Q3 launch or even holiday launch of this year. Is that going to push that into, 2021 now for a launch?
Oh, no. This is going to be one of our blockbuster items this holiday. Get your credit cards ready, boys. She's coming.
Yeah, that's the one David is driving the Mack truck
to
pick up and make sure everyone gets on time. Yeah.
Save some of that tax refund money.
I'll hop in a pickup. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, save up. The kids are going to be like, hey, where's my Christmas presents? And I'm like, oh, crap, I forgot about the kids. All right, well, you can play on the pinball machine,
I know a lot of people are getting toilet paper for Christmas.
Right? Yeah, that's a good gift. That's better than gold these days.
Somebody needs to create a
Why's
video
my
game
gift wrapped in paper? They should. Well, they had Booger Man. That was kind of close.
Yeah, I guess that's similar, right? That's funny. So we got
T-Dubs wants to know if David vapes.
Oh boy.
Ah, yes. Important question.
Not the e-cigarette kind of vape, but I'll leave it at that.
Well, you're Canadian, so
yeah,
it's allowed.
Yeah, it's legal up here. What I do, yeah. Got to relax somehow. You know what I'm saying?
It's medicinal.
Yeah. Call it what you need, man. Helps you sleep, helps you eat, relax. It's like a vacation,
Walk 30 blocks,
2 weeks there
40 blocks, find yourself at some strange hotel somewhere.
Whoa.
talking to some guy you just
Yeah, I
met in
don't
the
drink
corner.
anymore after San Diego Comic-Con. I kind of cut back on my drinking, so vaping is the safe way for me to enjoy an evening. Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure that John didn't spike your drink? You know that happens too. You know.
Trust me, it wasn't there wasn't anything funky going on. It was just looking back at it. I have like pictures of us just taking shots, and there's like 30 different pictures, 30 different drinks. So it wasn't nothing funky going on there. Just too much lightweight,
It's
So how, as
interesting.
far as all the machines you've been selling, how have your cocktail tables been doing? Because I actually really like the black, the Pac-Man cocktail table. Are we going to see more items in that form factor?
Certainly, yeah, the category is doing very well, and retailers that wouldn't normally carry us or wouldn't normally sell arcade games are really interested because we've now entered a functional furniture category with those things because we see them as playable cocktail tables, head-to-head units, whatever you want to call them. Retailers look at them as a coffee table that has a ton more value added. If you go and see like a nice high-end coffee table, it's in the relative same price range. You can get one that does nothing, or you can get one that you can jam out on your favorite retro games. Plus, it has authentic artwork and stuff. So for us, the category is doing very well, and we're getting a lot of retail pickup as well. So you'll definitely see new titles, new form factors, maybe. So definitely keep your fingers on the pulse there on all of our social media pages for the latest news.
Well,
How has your Pac-Man Atari joystick, the Retro Ralph edition, how have those things been been progressing?
Well, they're great, except we're shipping them with the head backwards now, so there won't be any communication or miscommunication on those things. But yeah, they're also doing very well. Lots of retail interest on those things. They're going to be like a huge party favorite in the near future. It'll be like the quarantine favorite for sure when you have the family over, the friends, and
Yeah.
keep it
Well,
to yourself.
they were definitely a favorite for parties, I think, beforehand, but I think you added family to it, which is important. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely. We're making a PG-13 version.
Let's go back to the cocktail tables real quick. Price point on that. Do you guys feel like you hit the mark with that, or do you kind of feel like the way some of us do for what it is and the size of it, it's a bit pricey for what it is?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. At the end of the day, like I don't have too much say in terms of pricing, right? We source it, they get it made, and I just sell it, So I agree with you. Like I hear what you're saying. It's kind of like the countercades. Consumers really drive the business. So if you guys continue to give that feedback, then it's likely to implement change on subsequent products.
And somebody wanted to know the recessed monitor. Is that something that's going to happen going forward? I guess kind of like, and I lost the chat because it went up there, but I don't know if they're referring to the way like Golden Tee is and some of those other ones that have that recessed glass.
Yeah, so on games that it works, they'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got to consider the design of the unit, the depth of the unit, and stuff like that. So if you guys keep wanting more recessed screens, like by all means, just keep giving that feedback. I think it's Pac-Man 40th, Golden Tee, and a few others that they're starting to roll it out on, and it's getting tremendously good feedback. So we're definitely going to keep that momentum and keep designing them that way if that's what you guys want.
Unqualified critic said that he was fine with the price point, but he said it was about 7 inches too short. I know he went out and put little legs on the bottom to raise it. Would that be an option like you're kind of doing with your pinball machines? We have maybe some adjustable legs that can drop down and lock in place to raise it up a little bit for some people if they want that.
That's actually really smart. I personally haven't thought of that. I'm sure the team has, but if not, that should be like an accessory or like an option, something maybe you retrofit to the existing unit. I don't know. I'm sure there's like a cheap solution out there to mod your existing one, but when the team did the designs, it's actually like an inch or two shorter than the original cocktail cabinet. So it's like 98% scale in terms of height. So I think the team did a fantastic job in terms of hitting the scale, but I do agree with you. You do bend over a little bit playing it. I mean, I'm 6'2", so I do feel a bit more hunched playing it, but overall it's still a great experience. I just think if you want it raised, currently look for options to get it taller yourself, and maybe down down the road we'll look at options to make it taller ourselves. But it's tough when you look at the design of the unit and the features and stuff and the packaging. There's not really like an inch of breathing room in any of the design we have, and it has to be certain heights for certain reasons, whether it's UPS shipping or FedEx shipping limitations or shipping weight and stuff like that. So I think they've really pushed the limits in terms of what's doable, but doesn't mean that they can't implement innovations moving forward. So, great feedback. I don't know the answer.
And a good option is I know you can buy these small little like peg legs you would put on furniture, and I think it's for unqualified critics it's done. So you can definitely do it. Just an option. It would kind of be nice on the sides, maybe a hit a little button to drop down the legs and lock it in place. Just little feedback. That's all.
And Glenn, somebody had a super chat about the pinball, about removing a game.
About
you want to.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't removing a game. I think they want me to do my Star Wars rant. That I'm not sure if it's licensing, but you can't do anything about it. But a lot of us do not like the new trilogy artwork because it's not really Star Wars. It's Kathleen Kennedy's, whatever it is. I don't know. But I guess it is. Will it be cabinets released with just original artwork, or it's always going to be that design due to Lucas and Disney requiring that artwork on the cabinet, the pinball machine? Because some of it's Star Wars, some of it's totally not Star Wars. It's fake. It's just not Star Wars.
That's funny you say that. Yeah, I don't really have heavy involvement in terms of the artwork or any of the negotiations on the contract, but I do want to rectify something I said earlier because I saw John here commented that there will be options in the future to raise the height on the cocktail tables. Probably something similar to the pinball.
Very nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
So back to the important question about Star Wars and artwork. So on this side of the cabinet, we have our nice original trilogy. We have Luke, we got Leia, we got Han, Chewie, and on this side there are some crazy creatures. No one really understands them. The movie stunk, and they really have no value. So just putting out there, if there's an option not to put that.
Why don't you just do half and half, Glenn? Put the original on one side and put the new trilogy on the other side, so you get the best of both worlds.
Well, that's what's on it now. You have the original.
That's what they've done. And
okay, so what's the problem then?
Here's the problem. Well, actually, I have a solution for people out there. That new artwork seems to be on the right-hand side, so you're going to put your pinball machine up against the wall on the right side, just enough to get your hand in on this side. This way you don't have to look at that, whatever that is. Ray, poo-poo-po, I don't know. Whatever that is. Thanks, Kathleen Kennedy, for rooting Star Wars. Appreciate it.
Wow. That's brutal.
This got personal really quickly.
Yeah. That's how you really feel, Glenn.
David, you should have had a better answer for it because now that's all we're going to hear the rest of the night. You do realize that, right?
Well, if you're going to make a Star Wars pinball or like the Star Wars arcade, right? That's a beautiful machine, great artwork on it all the way around. They did a phenomenal job with the yoke, the artwork, everything. Then I got the new pinball machine. Half the machine is beautiful. The other half is it's not.
Tell us how you really feel, Glenn.
Well, it's just one man's opinion.
True, but I do have
$2 billion in box office revenue that would say
represent about most of the world when it comes to Star Wars. I just happen to know.
Oh man! So since we're on Star Wars, the Star Wars sit down, Glenn, does that meet your standards? The Star Wars that Arcade 1-Up has, the sit down bench.
You know what? I am drooling over that because, as you know, I actually have a.
That's okay.
Arcade 1-Up. Oh yeah, but that's beautiful, and that's great. And I can't wait for the modding community to build the top parks. I know for a fact that once that seat comes out for the Star Wars, someone's going to enclose that sucker, and I cannot wait to see who's the first to do that. Whether it be Bruce Yeager or somebody else, I don't know, but I cannot wait for that seat to come out because when I played it twice. I played it in Dunkin' Donuts back in the day for the stand-up, but the sit-down, it's just a totally different experience, and I can't wait for that thing to get out. Cannot wait. Because you know what? There's no new trilogy on that. It's great.
What do you think, David? Is that coming anytime this year as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a fall launch.
Now that's going to be sold independently, right? As well as sold as a kit with the cabinet and everything in it. Is that true?
I think right now it's being sold through a retail with the bench and the unit itself. I do think that the team's trying to sell it on our own, like through arcade1up.com, or the bench itself separately. Like, you know what I mean? So you can get the unit without a riser or bench, hopefully, or a bench on its own, so you can retrofit an existing Star Wars. But that probably won't be for a little while right now.
Very cool. Speaking of arcade1up.com, David, you guys have had the website up for a while and you've been selling independently through that. What have been some of the lessons learned and the challenges you guys have faced, you know, being a retailer, so to speak, on your own?
Yeah, so the issue we found with the first pre-order was the delivery. So the issue we're having is like people do pre-orders and they're like, you know, I expect this, or like when people order on Amazon, for example, like today's day and age, consumer behavior is so different. Like they order something, they expect it there same day, next day, following day. So we didn't really understand the consumer mindset. And then when we pre-ordered, you know, we set the expectations that these will be available in, you know, a couple months. But of course, there's logistical hiccups as you're doing this for the first time. So with Burger Time, you know, to tie this all into one story here, we had aimed for a March 1st shipment, which we actually had pre-shipped. We shipped it 2 weeks earlier than we said we were going to. But the issues that had occurred, you know, global pandemic wise, within the time frame of shipping those units had just happened. So when we said this is our one shot to fix it, let's not mess anything up, we shipped it 2 weeks early to make sure we could hit the ship date we promised. And of course, there was still an issue with it. So we're still trying to get the pre-order process right. I mean, we did everything on our end to execute and deliver to the dates we promised. It's just there's certain things that are out of your control, i.e. global disasters. But other things we're learning are price points, shipping costs, stuff like that. We're still playing around with it. We're hoping to have, you know, not as expensive shipping in the future. That's something we're always negotiating with FedEx. Some things are just out of our control. Like I think I saw a deck protector go for less than the cost of shipping to someone's house at some point. And I was like, this is crazy. So we're trying to find solutions to make our e-commerce experience one that people actually enjoy and one that they can trust and deem credible. So that's something we're always working on and trying to improve.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So
appreciate you guys. You were the first 3 to pre-order. I saw the names.
Yep.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
So before we got to wrap up here, any other questions that you guys have for David? And those of you that are to stick around a little bit for post show, you can always jump in and call in and whatnot and ask him. We'll have a line open. But any other burning questions about the new launch? I mean, unfortunately, pandemic's here. I mean, there's nothing we could do about it for any company.
A lot of question mark.
Yeah, I mean, he can only give you so much information. I know, Glenn, you were talking before that you were really excited for those miniature consoles that you could set around.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm looking at getting some of those too to kind of use as decor in the arcade/studio, and I know you're really big on that.
Yeah, I only have 2. Those are expensive, you know, and I've only got 2 of each on those suckers. But the Coleco mini cades, I mean, they're just iconic. They have Pac-Man, they have Miss Pac-Man, they got Donkey Kong, they got Frogger, they have Zaxxon. They're just great, and I can't wait to see what they're coming out with. And I know that we're making more, but I'll definitely be in line with those. Even I got the Robotech that was released by Coleco. They had a Kickstarter last year, and it's just an iconic shell, great design, great game. So I cannot wait for those. But I also can't wait to get my hands on the mini consoles. I want that Atari, I want the Intellivision, I want the ColecoVision, I want the Commodore 64. You guys are gonna make me broke. I gotta be able to go out and get my toilet paper.
I knew he had to have something.
And like
the word
a
premium
month,
on there. You got the
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, he got that top of the line stuff. He'll be able to trade that for like 6 arcade 1-ups in a couple weeks, man. Values will keep going up.
It does say premium. Premium's
Yeah.
extra soft.
There you go.
Right there, premium extra soft.
So Zohar wants to know: is there any time frame for possible releases for Mortal Kombat? Now we're back to Mortal Kombat again. That's all right.
Oh, we're still on Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
I think
he's all about it, man.
Retailers who are interested in relaunching some of Wave 1 by Q4. Like I think that'll be available for holiday. I can't say which retailer now or the timing exactly, but they're on their way. Like, I can't guarantee you Mortal Kombat will be one of the re-release titles, but it's up there on the list for sure.
But
Well, here's the thing too. If they're gonna re-release like these cabinets, they gotta have the feature like the NBA Jam. Nothing's gonna be like playing Mortal Kombat over the internet with your friends somewhere else, like watching Steven or Doug beat the crap out of me in Mortal Kombat. It'd be just great, you know. So any cabinets get re-released, like the both like, yeah, we're gonna do it. But in any case,
Absolutely.
in any case, I think Arcade One, if they do release cabinets like the old style, it would really be a nice feature to have that connectivity to play your friends elsewhere. Because then I could play them in Asteroids and wipe the floor with them. So it's, give and take.
Definitely. I mean, when you guys think about it, we redeveloped NBA Jam in an arcade format for the first time ever to be online capable. So the company had taken a step outside of its comfort zone instead of just manufacturing arcade machines to developing games. So for the first time ever, we did that. And, kudos to the team again for the development, because it really turned out fantastic. It's very streamlined, very, very easy to do. But Scott invested a lot of money to do that. So to do it on every single re-release, probably not, but there may be a title or two that does come with it. And I'm telling you right now, the fact that he's making it free is really just like a hat tip to the community. You know what I mean? Like he's not charging any ridiculous like hourly fees or monthly fees or any sort of subscription base. He's just, you buy the unit, free online capabilities. He's funding that himself. He funded the development himself, and it's just going to be a fantastic experience for you guys. I really look forward to jamming out with you guys over the internet, especially if things continue to lean towards social isolation. It would be nice to connect that way. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
until the power grid goes down, we have no internet.
Oh, don't even say that.
Debbie Downer over there.
Hey, David, real quick, somebody reminded me of a question, and we're gonna have to wrap at least this portion of it up. Silver Strike Bowling apparently was shown at CES on with the Golden Tee. Is that still in the works? Because somebody said that it was removed from the floor a day or two after it was shown. Was that a oops, or was that a signs of things to come?
Yeah, I don't think that was supposed to be on the show floor, if I'm being honest. That was mistaken.
I can tell by your reaction.
Can't comment on that one.
Okay. Again, somebody had stated that. But anyways, David, thank you so much for joining us. You guys check him out, arcade1up.com. Any parting words for everybody, David?
I always have a hard time with these because I say the same thing every time, so I'm going to try and think of something unique. In this time of panic and stuff and fear, just try and, spend time with your loved ones, enjoy your downtime, additional hours at home, recuperate, charge yourself up, and enjoy life, because, it's too short. There's too much panicking going on. Just try and, enjoy your best life and just do what you enjoy. Some people may enjoy playing games. Some people may enjoy spending time with their family, but just, do what makes you happy.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us and taking time. For those that are in post-show, he'll stick around for a little bit. Also, I want to thank Mr. Douglas Smith, youtube.com/cooltoy. Go subscribe. I don't need to tell everybody to subscribe. They know where you're at.
Yeah, find me. Or I'll find you.
Yeah, or he'll beat you. And also, Glenn Planameno, check him out, youtube.com/Glenn's Retro Show. And you just did a recent video with Mr. Critics.
Correct.
So y'all want to go check out.
Yes. He's a good guy too. Nothing more to say.
I was going to say
guy
just David, but then nobody knows like you just said, David McIntyre.
One of the things about the Unqualified Critics is he seems to understand that the TurboGrafx 16 is superior to the Sega Genesis.
Hey, you're ganging up on me. You found a supporter.
Oh, wait, I'm in
Minions.
I'm in Sega camp with you. I'm in Sega camp with you until I get it,
there
Doug. So we're there. So it's a tag team
Sega
going
camp
on
for about 15 minutes. You've been in the Sega camp 15 minutes. Come on.
Wait a second. All growing up, my brother wanted Nintendo. I wanted Sega. He can tell you that. Okay, so I'm telling you.
So your brother knew what he was doing, and you didn't. He tried to educate you. I get it.
I had the masters. Anyways, Glenn Planameno, check him out, youtube.com/Glenn's Retro Show. Guys, I'm the Tech Buzz pretty much everywhere. Go check it out. Again, if you want to subscribe to this podcast, it's in audio and video form everywhere your favorite podcast is at. Go subscribe. If you came in late Or if you didn't get to hear the post show, you need to come live, because the post show, sometimes things come out. It just happens that way. But really appreciate all you guys tuning in, and we'll see you next week for the Retro Buzz. Oh, the
Gaming
audio
out
is
and
muted. Sorry, guys. The
nothing.
audio was muted here where we're trying to wait for. Sorry, guys.
Whoops.
Yeah, the
Nope,
mu-
that
the
was all
audio.
Probably
secret
top
was
secret
good.
conversations.
Yeah.
That's and
that
David
was-
Those were all
just
the
spilled
secret
beans
product launches.
too.
There-
David told us everything. That didn't get out there. Oh man!
No,
So-
I can't
He
say
told
it
us
twice, guys.
everything.
Can't say it twice.
It always gets
Yeah.
the actual stream gets muted when the last video plays through. We were just kind of shooting the bull, anyways. It wasn't anything you guys missed.
When
what?
Arcade was going to release that electric car, that was all. Oh, did I spill it again?
The Tesla truck.
Okay, we
The-
have.
the Arcade won a Tesla truck.
Let me see here. Hang on. Wait.
That thing was pretty cool.
It does. I think I'm on a Y though. I want a Model Y.
The Tesla truck looks like the apocalyptic truck that we need right now. I mean, we already
Actually,
are going
Yeah.
toward the Mad Max dystopian future. You need a Tesla truck right now.
you know what? The glass is supposed to
Yep.
be strong, so maybe you're right. No one's gonna break in
That's
my
the one
truck
I'll
and
be
get my
delivering
TP.
the pinball tables in.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, we have a caller here. As long as I can get that caller up, I believe that caller may have audio. Let's see, caller, do you have audio?
Hey,
John
Who
D
it
in the
is, my boy.
house.
we're not hearing you,
We
John.
let this guy on the show.
The roles are reversed. John
I can
D's
hear
got the
him.
button now.
Yep, can't hear him.
Oh, that was Douglas's laugh. Never mind. Similar.
All right, John, say something.
I knew it. David's got him muted. He's going to tell us a story, and David's got him muted. I knew it.
How about now,
I can,
John?
I can call him and put him on speaker if you guys want.
We can get it figured
I'm
out.
changing his audio to try to figure out, but
I'm going to guarantee you he's on an iPhone or an iMac.
no, he's
somewhere.
actually on a
That's it.
computer.
His default mic might be something that isn't ready to be used right now.
I think we got audio now, John.
Oh, he's mobile. He's moving.
Oh, wait, no,
I
he's
feel like it's a music video
Oh.
right now.
Yeah, it's a rap
Yeah,
video.
we're getting the John D MTV Cribs edition. This is sick. Never been in John's house before.
Yeah, we're
That
just
you remember.
we're just not getting any audio from him.
That I-
Maybe we could try.
that I
Maybe he's
remember.
going to wait. He's going to a whiteboard and he's going to draw it all out for us. And then we'll get the
roadmap
so we're
plan?
we're gonna do the roadmap. We're gonna do Pictionary. But John,
we go.
your audio. I don't know what's okay. He's gonna try to put these in. Okay. See,
There we
notice
go.
what he's grabbing. He's grabbing
Ah.
Apple ear pods. You see that, Glenn?
So and you're trying to tell me a lie he's using a PC. I knew it.
Well, that I didn't. I just said he was on a
Very
computer.
lightweight PC.
You are such
Oh.
a fibber.
I said he was on a computer. You said it was a Mac or a PC.
Because that's what it was. It was a Mac.
We can't
No,
hear
and it
you
still
yet.
don't work.
Still can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yes. I just wanted
No.
to tell you that the pinball machines will not have the artwork for the new trilogy. Yes, that is correct. Also, I wanted to
All
tell
right.
you that
Try to refresh, John. See if that helps you. We'll see if that because he has the
No
the
problem.
headphones and he plugged them in. Maybe we'll get it. Let's see here. And Angel, I know you're waiting to join in. We'll get John going.
always got to have the angel.
I can just I can call his cell if you guys want. Patch him through over my. Actually, you know what? I'm using my AirPods. That probably wouldn't work.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you want to do that? So you can mute him when he says something.
We can't, John. Yeah, we can't hear
Exactly. Yeah.
you. Check
I
and
need to
make
have the
sure you're.
control.
Are you on a Mac? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, so you're on a PC. Make sure Windows is on the
think he's on-
correct mic, because that might be causing his
He's like,
problem.
how the hell do I do that?
Hey, he's a tech guy. He'll figure it out. He's good. Nope, still can't hear you.
Can I here? I'm gonna change my input to my Mac Air microphone, and then I'll call him.
Okay, hang on.
Getting
That'll
fancy.
work.
Glenn, I love your show. I'm a subscriber. Everyone should subscribe.
All right,
Good
say
channel.
something, John. Nope.
Cool Toy is great too,
No.
but he's got a lot of subs as it is. He's cool. He's cool toy.
I want a Glenn Planamento bad lip reading of everything right now. Glenn, I want the bad lip reading version of the Star Wars 789. That's what I want.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. That'll be great.
Yep. Make it happen.
So
I'm Ray. I could do anything. I'm magical.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am, but I do because I'm so powerful. I picked up my lightsaber 2 seconds ago, and I'm going to take that Kylo Ren down in 2 seconds. He's been training his whole life, but I'm going to beat him because I'm Ray.
He did it so nonchalantly too. He was ready for
how do you?
Yeah, that seems rehearsed.
that.
I think he's trying to call.
like
I
he's
think he's going to
practiced
try to
that
call in one more time. Angel, I know you're trying to jump in, bud. Just let's see if we get John in here real quick, and then
Yeah, Angel said
we'll
take
get
your
you in.
time.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if John's refreshing or what he's doing, but I noticed he dropped. But if not, David, you could always pull him up. We'll just put his video up, and he can bring his audio. You could bring his audio in through you on the phone. He'll be sitting there on the phone.
Sure.
I think David
Yeah.
sabotaged.
Let me know what you want to do.
Saboteur.
Oh yeah, I called my people. They took care of business.
See that?
I'm surprised he even has his computer. I told him to get rid of that too. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He has a nice house though. Come on, that kitchen was killer.
Yeah.
He was walking through. I don't know if he was trying to get bandwidth or what he was trying to do, but let's see here. Is he up? Okay, let's see here. Let's try to get him again. The first time he called, we didn't have any video or audio, and then
Slowly we got the video.
just like now, I'm not getting any video from him right now.
Sorry, guys. Had a little fire there at the old hospital.
What's
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
It's typically bad when you say hospital on fire.
Yeah, not a literal fire, just just problems.
Yeah.
Boop. So right now, we're on the show, so we can't worry about that. They'll survive.
Oh, they're gonna want you to come in tomorrow?
That's tomorrow Glenn's problem.
That's right.
So you guys have been a part of the Arcade 1-Up community for like a year and a half now. What do you guys think so far? What are your thoughts? Tell me a bit about what you guys think about the brand and the product and how its parts come.
You asking us
So
or you
who's
asking
starting?
the community?
I think he's asking us.
Oh, okay.
I'm asking
Yeah.
you guys. I'm flipping the script. I'm interviewing you guys now. You're on my show. This is the
Ah,
Yeah.
David
So no, it's been impressive to watch this grow. Initially, I thought it was going to be a huge success when I first heard and saw about it because it hit a personal connection with me. I was like, hey, I'm in my 30s. I've got a little extra money saved up. I always wanted an arcade. Years ago, Arcade One Up didn't exist, so I put forth the money and bought myself a full-size arcade and inherited all the full-size arcade problems that come along with it. And even then I was like, man, I really wish there was a better solution to that. Then Arcade One Up came along and kind of had the magic answer to something I was looking for that didn't know I needed, was a smaller arcade that's easier to manage, reasonably priced. I didn't have to drive out of state to go get it or anything like that. It was, retail accessible. So to see that available for the community out there is really special to me. And I think this thing has actually grown leaps and bounds farther than I even ever imagined. I knew it would be successful, but I didn't think it would be to the point where I'm watching Arcade One Up commercials on Monday Night Raw, and I'm seeing Forbes and CNET and all these other companies take notice of what you guys are doing.
Crazy. Yeah, that was well said, Douglas. Thank you.
for me, I still can remember the very first time I heard about you guys. It was actually on Facebook, and it was Scott. And I have to say, I think Scott has been working out, because if you look at the very first video, he seemed a little more fuller in the cheeks than than he does now. So he's getting in shape. But when I saw them, I was extremely excited, because the first wave cabinets was definitely my generation. The late '70s, early '80s, and I'd always wanted an asteroids and a centipede and a missile command. So when I saw them, I was already hooked, and it was a wild ride. I mean, from when you guys pre-launched to your launch till today, and you've had a huge amount of growth, and it's still shocking when I look back that it's only been about a year and a half. It seems like you guys have been here a lot longer. That's how much the community, you kind of intertwined with it so much. And like Doug said, seeing you on TV commercials, seeing all the advertisements, seeing that all those other companies taking you guys for notice, and also promoting your product. You guys have gone really, even the entire genre went from nowhere. It really didn't exist. It was a hobby before, people building their own cabinets and so forth. You've now been able to quantify that at a reasonable cost at regular retailers, and able people to just walk in and walk out and put a machine together. And by seeing how far you've come with just the few cabinets you had, to what you're looking to do this year with the mini arcades, with the blast style dongles, with the mini consoles, your brand of Arcade One Up, which was really just arcade cabinets, like you said, the brand has expanded well beyond its original scope of really being a small pet project for Scott. It's now grown into a full-fledged brand, just like Champion or a Sony PlayStation. Arcade One Up is a recognizable brand that I'm leeching off of to a point, but that's regardless. We'll take it to the side. But the fact that you guys have really come to the point where manufacturers are now coming to you, say, "Hey, we got these properties. We'd like to see you make a cabinet." Is a far cry from when you were pounding on people's doors saying, "Listen, we want to do it," and they're like, not so much. So I think it's extremely impressive that all of you have taken the company from such a small niche spot to where now you are currently the top dog, and there are people nipping at your heels, and you're constantly expanding your product line to keep ahead of the game, which I think is pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's nice to hear this, because honestly, I've been knee deep in customer service, and I'll tell you, they're not as kind as you, gentlemen here. So appreciate that.
You guys suck.
Well, just to let you know, I deal with a bunch of someone's calling. I deal with a bunch of hospitals, so I definitely get the customer care and not always getting the kind responses. But in all fairness, you know as well as I know, as well as everyone here knows, the squeaky wheel makes a noise. You don't always hear about the 50, 60, or 100 people having the good thing. You only hear about that one person having the problem, and that's natural. I mean, when you guys came out, it was a brand new thing, and it was a learning curve. You guys had not done this before. This was something new for you guys, and there was a learning curve. And I think you guys have really listened Scott is. I mean, again, Scott's been here. John D's trying to get here. He's trying to talk. You keep muting him. I get it. You don't want him to say anything about your walking down the street at 3:00 in the morning. But the fact you guys actively listen to the community, you try it. What the real problem comes in is people don't realize changes don't come overnight. When you see something that's wrong, you got to talk to your production line. You got to get the part. You got to resize the part. The engineering team's got to try it. Sometimes FCC, if it's a different board, FCC's got to approve the board. There's all these other steps that they don't realize takes time. So it's not the fact that you're not trying to respond. It just takes time to respond. But I think you guys have been doing a pretty good job of doing it. Is there more things you can do? Scott himself said he thinks there is. And he's the guy running the company, so we'll take it as his word that he still believes there's a way to go.
Not to interrupt.
And we'll get there.
But I think
not
to interrupt, but I think we got John D. John, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How about me?
Ooh, we got you. Just give me a second so I can get your video situated. Go ahead and turn your camera the other way, John.
The other way?
Yeah, turn it sideways. You had it good. All right, so now I got John. We went the Skype route, so we've got John there. There we go.
D.
No, there's that handsome face. How's it going?
John D. have his TP.
How you guys doing? Good show, by the way, from what I've seen of it. I didn't catch all of David's story, unfortunately, though. So I don't know how much he edited from that version.
Before we talk about that, why don't we just hear your side of what happened? We did, and let's compare what he said.
You want to compare?
You tell us.
I don't want to embarrass him too much, so I don't know like what he wanted to tell you. I think you can tell me after I tell my story.
John, he told basically he drunk you under the table. He had to carry you home like a little baby and took you in because you could not hold your liquor. That is what he said.
Well,
to God.
I don't think he's told you the whole story, unfortunately. Hold on a second.
Hey, you turned your video off.
Yeah, hold on. Sorry about that.
I was trying to get rid of the return video to him and bring it back.
Okay, here you go.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. So I don't want to bust him out, but I think he left out one big detail, probably the funniest detail. So because he just texted me right now, he said I left out this part, but I think it's not so bad, I mean he's like he doesn't want to tell you this one funny part, but I'll tell it anyways because I think it's funny. I think you need to see this other side of David, a more loose, fun-loving side of David, without having all the PR speak, Okay, so do you guys have time?
Go for it.
Oh, we have time.
Yeah,
we have
the fan service part.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so David and I went to San Diego Comic-Con, and that's probably our first time we really got to hang out and bond. So this was his first Comic-Con, so I was happy to kind of show him the ropes and take him to a few parties. So we're going from bar to bar hopping. I remember going to this one bar, and me and David almost got into a fight with this one drunk dude. Actually, no, it wasn't David, it was me. And luckily, David was pretty cool about it and broke it up. I was about to fuck him up, but it wasn't my fault anyways. It totally wasn't my fault. He started it. Anyway, so we're having shots.
Don't. I know you guys have a thing with at games. You have to go punch him in the face.
I love at games, man. That's anyway. So we started having a few shots, and I think maybe about an hour and a half into it, and probably about maybe 15 to 20 shots into the night. We're going to one of our last clubs, and it's this one karaoke bar. That has a mechanical bull, and it's literally across the street from our hotel, right? Because that was our last destination. We made a big circle, around the Gaslamp district. So we're going to the last bar, and David's feeling really good, really happy, and really talkative, all right? And we were with one of my friends, and so we go to the bouncer. And David just starts talking a lot. Like, hey, how you doing? It's a great night, blah, blah, blah. And he's, when you try to get into a club, you got to pretend like you're not drunk. And David was just talking and talking and talking and yapping, right? And I mean, we're trying to tell him, hey, shut up, or else you're not gonna be able to get inside. So we're about to go inside, and then the bouncer goes, hey, you can't get in. You've had enough to drink, right? And we're trying to argue with them. No, he's fine. Just let him in. He goes, no, you two can go in, but this guy, he needs to eat something and come back and sober up before he can get in, right? Okay, oh damn, that's fine. It was towards the end of the night, anyways. It was the last club we can go into. So me and my friend, we go across the street, and we walk him into the lobby. There's a lobby bar in there. Just say, hey, just chill here. Go back up to your room, and we'll see you tomorrow. So me and my friend go back into the club, and that's the last I hear from him from the whole night. I go, okay, we did our job. Made sure we got back to the hotel safe, which was across the street. Now, David's not going to let me tell him this, but when I talked to him the next morning, it's actually the next afternoon because we were both too wasted to get into the convention that early. I think we started coming back around like 3:00 in the afternoon, and we looked tore up. And David tells me the story. He goes, "Why did you guys leave me?" I goes, "What do you mean leave you? You couldn't get into the club, and so we walked you across the street to the lobby, right?" He goes, "What? No, that's not how it happened. That's not how it happened." So what he did was the bouncer told him to go get something to eat. So he kind of leaves for maybe like 5 or 10 minutes, and then comes back in and goes, "Oh, I got something to eat. I'm good." And the bouncer goes, "No, you're not. You've been gone like literally less than 10 minutes. Get out of here, right?" So he doesn't let him in again. And then all of a sudden, David gets lost, right? He doesn't know where he's at. He's actually walked himself across the street where our hotel lobby is and still thinks he's lost. So he gets one of them scooters, those electrical scooters, right? And he drives off in it trying to look for the place where he's already at, right? So he goes about 20 minutes, I think, away from the hotel, and realizes he's lost, and then somehow finds his way back again. I think that's the end of the story. There's things that happen between them, but I thought that was pretty funny. Is that how it went, David?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. On the way back.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it. I remember, like, I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't even smoke like nicotine at all. But I met some dude who was like ex-military at a bar when I was trying to find my way home. I ended up smoking like half a pack of cigarettes with the guy. Just like had a good time, and then hopped on my scooter and found my way home. It was a good time. Yeah. Part of the story.
Yeah.
I left out
And
intentionally, but since it's out there,
it's not that bad. See, I told you it wasn't that bad. I mean, we all have our drunken stories, But unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be a San Diego Comic-Con this year. I'm pretty bummed out about that. I don't think it hasn't been announced, but we were supposed to show something really cool at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, he told us that you were going to come on here and tell us what the announcement was.
Oh, for San Diego Comic-Con? So we're going to show a new category. I can't do that. Sorry. Can't say anything.
Oh, he tased him to the table. He did it.
Wow.
I didn't
No, he didn't say.
But
He didn't
we
say
were.
anything.
Hands are up here.
Yeah.
But we were going.
Didn't say anything.
We had a pretty big announcement. At San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah. I can give you a hint though. We were going to be at the Lucasfilm Pavilion again. We were booked for that, and for the Star Wars celebration too. We're supposed to go to that. All of these cool trade shows that we're invited to is all canceled now or postponed, unfortunately.
They're gonna probably end up being canceled because everything else is going to be booked in those spots. They're not going to be able to make squeeze everybody in. I know the broadcasting convention was canceled in Las Vegas too. I was supposed to go out to that.
Yeah, it's true. Well, anyways, what people are trying to do, they're trying to postpone everything until August, right? But again, there's only so many spots and locations you can do in August. So a lot of these things are going to be just canceled until the next year. But we will find ways to do some cool product announcements because we have a whole bunch of them that
David, you
for holiday.
Oh, Dave, why'd you do that?
he's pulling your
Perfect
plug.
timing.
Look at him down there. He's like sitting there working on his computer. He's pulling John's plug there.
I pushed the button.
Am I frozen?
Man. Once
You
he
were
said
for a
wins,
little
I had to
bit.
call my people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So there were a couple
I'm
questions
trying to read the
about
comments.
I wanted to address something from the chat. They said, well, for the Burger Time pre-order, why were some from the first 1,000 not shipped and some were? That's not true. So I think what people are seeing is when people are putting their certificates of authenticity, they're noticing numbers like in the 2000s that have been shipped. But those certificates don't necessarily coincide with when you've actually ordered. Because what they do is, you produce a whole bunch of things, and then everything gets fulfilled, and everything gets kind of mixed up in terms of like the shipping. So you're going to see some of the first 1,000 have different numbers. But yeah, we were definitely, if this whole coronavirus thing didn't happen, we would have shipped everything on time.
Well, that's what we were afraid was going to happen, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then one other thing I want to address was the Star Wars art. I personally like the sequel trilogies.
Glenn,
Glenn, much
No,
better.
that's right.
Well, I think Rise of Skywalker was much better than that piece of crap Last Jedi bullshit. I just didn't like Last Jedi. But anyways, my point was
let's just call it the truth,
go
man.
ahead.
They all
go
suck.
ahead, Glenn.
They all the truth. All three of them were horrible. They sucked. They did. I mean,
well, they were way better than the prequels.
Oh, no. I actually would take the prequels. Just take Jar Jar out of it.
Get out of here. You're tripping. You're high. Oh, my God. Those are horrible.
I will say, what's funny about the Jar Jar, I'm sorry, not Jar Jar, the Jar Jar Abrams, I'll put it that way, Jar Jar Abrams.
Wow.
What I could say about his, at least when you went to the theater, you sat there and you were entertained. It wasn't until you got up and walked away, you realized you got effed. Like, what was that? You enjoyed it while you watched it? Then as soon as you start thinking about it, you're like, what did I just watch? And then it hits you. At least the prequels, you gagged a little bit in your mouth as you watched it. So you took it and you all right. But all these other ones, the Last Jedi, Force Awakens, I will say the Force Awakens wasn't horrible because it was a rehash of A New Hope. So since it was A New Hope all over again, it wasn't bad. Last Jedi was horrible, and the Force Awakens.
Well, Rise of Skywalker was pretty much a reimagined Return of the Jedi. I think the whole thing was kind of almost a reboot in a sense.
Right. So you stole the stuff that worked, and you made now Rey steal from Anakin and Luke's story. Anakin and Luke's story was they destroyed the Emperor, they saved the galaxy. Oh, no. His granddaughter from a clone that was not a clone of his, very well, had her, and it was nice. And she now did it by simply taking two lightsabers and going, I'm Rey. And he's that thing ended. That touch ended.
Can somebody clip that?
You could have where Luke was engaged, and Vader's like, no, I'm saving you. You're my son. I'm tossing you off. I'm coming back to the light. No, it had to be. No, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't.
I think you should have done Jar Jar Binks. You would have been a better Jar Jar Binks.
There you go.
You totally would have been a better Jar Jar Binks.
But I gotta say, I told my son, I said Star Wars ended at Episode 6, 7, 8, and 9, or something else like Star Trek Discovery. If they call it Star Trek, it's not Star Trek. It's just not. It's just not.
All right. Well, we can go on and on about how good or not good 7, 8, 9 was. Back to my point about the artwork. So right now we're still trying to figure out what the final game list is. Right. We'll definitely have 10 games on that pinball cabinet, and the artwork will reflect what's in those 10 games. Will the Last Jedi and the sequel trilogy appear on the cabinet artwork only if the games coincide with that. So there could be a chance where the sequel trilogies, the games for that may not appear, and then if that doesn't appear, then you're just going to see the classic artwork on the cabinet.
I heard classic artwork. I left it at that.
Selective hearing.
That's
But
why
I know. But you know what? In all honesty, I will say I know some people enjoyed it. They can. I mean, the younger kids today, they enjoyed it, and that's fine. I'm just saying for someone who grew up with them, to me, it's not Star Wars. But other people enjoy it, and that's fine. Everyone, it's a free country, it's a free world. You know, take bad movies you like and enjoy it. That's fine. It's all fine.
Okay, good, Glenn.
Hear that pin drop. Hear that pin drop.
All right, I think we
you should
beat
be an
this
actor,
topic,
Glenn. That was funny.
to a pulp.
Well, David, and honestly, everyone always waits for my Star Wars rant. It's just become a thing.
Yeah. And I believe we have a caller. I think Angel, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing. Same old. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
We're doing well. Do you got a
That's good.
question
Listen-
for John or David?
Wait, one quick thing before we go on. I think the feud should stop. Let's get these guys to kiss and make up. Come on, Sega, Stupa, Sega and Stupa. Come on.
Well, wait. So
Gotta let
John and Glenn already have a beef, not only with the Star Wars, but also Glenn is pro TurboGrafx 16. John is pro Sega. So
Smart man.
so we already got a two bout. You know.
Let's make out.
Well,
Let's make
John,
out.
well, I can tell you right now, John and D, I'm guaranteeing love sports games. Am I right? Oh, he's frozen. No,
now he's
I
moving.
don't like
Now
any
he's moving.
Sega stuff.
No.
So, John, what I was saying is, you like sports games, right?
Yes. Big on sports games.
Right. So if people who like sports games are going to love Sega. I mean, Sega had a lot of great sport games. I'm not a sports game kind of guy, so the selection was still okay, but I'm more of a shoot 'em up kind of guy and good games. So I go for the TurboGrafx 16.
Well, I had a TurboGrafx 16, and you're right. Actually, I think the TurboGrafx 16 only lasted in America for maybe 2.5 years before Sega just took them over. But yeah, in terms of shmups, they were good. Maybe had one good platformer in Bonk.
Bonk was awesome.
Actually, Bonk was good. And they actually had a version of Street Fighter, which was decent. But they just couldn't compete with Nintendo. And
that well, the problem was it was Nintendo's issue because Nintendo had the license all locked up and all their huge library of games on the TurboGrafx. PC Engine couldn't come to the States, so that hurt them. And the marketing wasn't good either, and that hurt them. But I will say that the first Street Fighter called Fighting Street should have been called Fighting Feet. It was horrid. It was horrid. But
well, the game itself is horrid.
It was horrid. Yeah, it was just a bad game. But the arcade card CD of Street Fighter, I guess it was Alpha, whatever they released, was good. But no joking aside, I mean, no one can argue that Sega was not a good console. I'm just trying to make the point that TurboGrafx 16 was an excellent console and hardware-wise for being an 8-bit. And I will say it was an 8-bit machine because it had an 8-bit enhanced and Nintendo CPU. For an 8-bit machine, it was good. It had a 16-bit graphic engine. But for what it was a damn good console. It could hold toe-to-toe with the Genesis and even the SNES to a degree. Mode 7 wasn't there, obviously, but it was a good console.
Yeah, it was decent. I mean, you're right, though. It wasn't a true 16-bit console, even though that's what it was marketed to be because it was called TurboGrafx 16. But the hardware, I mean, it took the developers a lot to be able to match even what the Sega Genesis or even the Super Nintendo could do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to make the TurboGrafx 16 have flicker and its sprites, I agree. It took a lot of work.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm looking forward to the mini TurboGrafx 16. I'm looking forward to possibly doing a micro version of it if I get the rights to it.
I'll be knocking on your door.
All right. I think I can do this. Let me see if I can. I have Angel up on the TV behind me. Let's see if I can. Let me see if I can call this in. Nope. Hang on. Let me go this way. There we go.
Wrong direction here.
Yeah. So now I'll give you a little bit of a headache. So then we can move John. Let's get John up there. So that way
Put 'em
I
in
don't have
little-
to sit here and switch around, and everybody can have everybody can be on the screen. Let's position.
God, you don't need to see my face.
Put John over here. Well, no, when
yeah,
you
yeah.
and Glenn start ranting, it's you know, people want to see a reaction.
Put it lightly.
I should just say,
There.
I should do that TikTok.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
Okay,
perfect.
boomer. Whatever you say, boomer. Okay. I'm just kidding. I'm almost a boomer myself.
There we go.
Hey, John, you were asking earlier how do we feel about your product? I'll be honest, I'm a big diehard fan, even though I don't have like 20 or 30 cabinets in my house. Your first Street Fighter was the first thing I got, and not because I'm a Street Fighter fan, I'm more of a Mortal Kombat fan. I did drive 30, 40 miles for that one. But once I got your Street Fighter cabinet, despite of what anybody says, even negative, it's more of a pleasure to tinker with it and mess around with it and change certain things, because if you honestly think about it, you got an arcade cabinet, you got the games that you want. After a while, you just don't play with it anymore. You just let it sit there and it starts collecting dust after a while. But to be able to tinker with it every single day was like the best time I had with your Street Fighter cabinet.
Word. Thank you for that. I think one of the best products that, our generation, actually not just any generation, right, is having a product that you can modify, because
Yeah.
you can change the buttons. It just makes things more fun, right? When you're
Yeah, that's the
changing
best
the
thing. That's
games,
best
changing the
part of it.
buttons, all that stuff. Now again, I wouldn't condone changing the games because I can't. But whatever the mod community does and all that, as long as you're having fun with it, as long as I don't know about it, it's all good.
Well, a lot of it has to do with personalization and customization. People have been modding cars, their
Exactly.
clothes, from day one. I mean, that's how
Bikes,
music has
everything.
evolved over the years.
And that's what I really like about our form factor, because I think that's one of the biggest advantages we have, is we have a form factor that allows for people who don't have much space in their houses. It's not that heavy to move along, but it's just enough so you can add multiple cabinets. And again, if you get bored with one game, tinker with it. And yeah, I mean, I have this electric skateboard that I'm like putting new trucks and new wheels and changing the motor up and all this things. And also like with cars, adding rims and spoilers, all that stuff. It's really an enthusiast product. And that's what I like to call our line, a very enthusiast line, which also appeals to the mass market.
Absolutely.
Dun, 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 dun. Here's a story. A guy named Glenn.
Oh my! I'm
There we go. Perfect. Oh my God, that was perfect.
I'm getting a little crazy with this here.
I like it.
I'm playing while
Angel,
you guys
what's
are
going to be
doing
your
this.
next cabinet,
seriously,
Angel?
what John just said
Go
there
ahead.
is actually true. There's a huge aftermarket community for modding machines. And if people didn't want to do that, there would be no reason to have all these other third-party options for it. So you can keep your machine stock, which people absolutely do like to do. Then there's people like me, you keep one stock and then one you modify. But I don't think either is wrong. Some people just don't have the ability to do that, and they buy the one cabinet. But to have a machine so perfect for everyone is impossible. There's always going to be some feature, something that someone doesn't like, and you want to make it your own. I mean, it's your machine. You bought it. You want to put like a car. You want to put in, better headlights. You want to put in different rims, or you want to put, a girl you got off eBay in the other seat that you paid from, coming from China with the coronavirus, whatever. Put it over there. These are things that not only Arcade 1-Up is built up. Like I said before, the Tastemakers now has this other brand that's a good moneymaker for them. There are these smaller fries out there that are able to make enhancements, myself actually included, I suppose. But there are these people are making a living off of these add-ons, and I think that's a good thing. Any way that you can make the machine yours, or to enhance it, or leave it alone, it's up to you if you want to put extra money into it or leave it as it is. I just think that's you're never going to build anything perfect aside from the original Star Wars trilogy, and there's nothing going to be perfect other than that.
Here we go again.
Well, that's awesome. Hey, Angel, what's going to be your next cabinet?
my next cabinet, I want the pinball. To be honest, my question is, for
Mhm.
that, I'm more concerned on the size of it, like the height of it, which is fine.
Mm,
If I have to
mm,
change it, I'll fix it.
right.
Another question, I don't think I've ever heard the answer to this. Is it sensitive? Like when you tap into it, would it tilt the machine?
Yes. So we have a something called the accelerometer that's built
Right.
into the cabinet. So it basically can tell the level of tilt within the cabinet. So if you kind of nudge it to a certain level, then it'll tilt basically. But there are
Yeah.
also dimensions in there where it won't tilt, and you can still affect the ball placement from a tilt. Well, from a
Yeah.
bang, I guess, or a movement.
All right. I'll make sure to put the brakes on my chair. Also, the NBA Jam one is the next one. Also, I want to get for my son, so that one's gonna be a good one.
No, I'm excited about that. The online play is really smooth. I mean, we'll test it. We'll see how it really holds up with hundreds of people online. But our tests right now are coming pretty smooth with very, very little lag.
Oh, that's good.
And I think
That's
you
really
also
impressive.
said, John, before as well, it'll be Wi-Fi, but also still have an RJ45 if you want to connect directly. That's still right, right?
That's correct. You can go direct. You can plug in direct.
What about the pinball? Can we do that online?
It'll have Wi-Fi capabilities in the sense that you can download patches, but there's no. Right now we're still looking into downloadable games for that. That's not in the. It's not in the picture for a while.
Right.
If at all. If at all.
I just was
So.
curious. I was just curious. If not, I think it because
Well,
going
if
that
we even
direction.
could just have a leaderboard.
Yeah.
Even a leaderboard would be good. People's high scores, trying to beat high scores
Yeah.
for other people. It's options.
Hey,
It's always
Yeah,
nice to have options.
I think in wave 2 we'll look into more of those options. I think right now we're just concentrated on bringing the best experience out there with good, little lag as possible, with a good frame rate that doesn't dip below 50 frames, having a good variable between 50 and 60 frames. That's what we're working on, and we're pretty much there.
hey, leave my toy shock alone, will you?
I didn't even mention that.
Toy Shock. He didn't say Toy Shock.
No, hey, you know what? Toy Shock is for people who don't care about that.
Hey,
listen,
stuff, I'm having fun with my Toy Shock because I gotta sustain myself until you put your product out. So come on, get with the program, get it out there, will you? No.
We're pretty glad Toy Shock came first. It allowed us to see what the hardcore community wants and implement those features.
Hey, Angel, real quick, do you have any other questions for them? You can jump back on. We've got a guy that's waiting in queue. We want to get in so he can get his question answered, but we'll happily bring you back on if nobody else is calling in.
No, go ahead. Take the other caller.
All right, man.
I'll be back later.
All right,
come back. Just add another square right there.
I can't, man. I'm out, man. I'm maxed to here. So, Angel, we'll have you jump back in when he jumps out. So feel free to jump back in. All right. So let's get this gentleman in. We're going to send you to the studio now. We'll get Eric up here.
John, we got a question in the YouTube chat from Unqualified Critics.
Could
you ask John for any details, info on the Burger Time control fix? He announced the fix on Facebook.
Oh, there's feedback.
Nope, he's muting it because he was just listening, so he knew what he was on.
All right.
So without saying too much, because David says there's going to be an announcement. What we have seen is people having trouble going up and down the stairs for Burger Time because the diagonals aren't restricted, right? So we're going to find a way to offer a gate that actually works for all the games in there, not just Burger Time, not just ones that are good with 8 and 4. We found a good solution that works for all, but we tested it. So we'll be able to provide a solution that works with all the games in one.
Just take the ball off, make one that slides down over the top, snaps into place, put the knob.
Well, you know what?
On, you're done.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because we were actually thinking about that, and actually we may make something like that where you take the ball off and you have a restrictor, basically a metal restrictor that restricts the directions. You pop it into that hole. That's one way to do it. I think that's a cheap way to do it.
Well, I
And I
think
think
it works. So if you want to pull it out, you can, and
Yeah, yeah, for
without
sure.
tearing everything apart. You know, that
But what I and we are likely going to make something like that because I think that's a great solution. That's
Yeah.
fairly cheap, right?
Sure.
But we found a gate that's able to work with all. I think that's a better solution, so you don't have to keep popping up
Right,
that
right. That's a
that
permanent
restrictor.
solution.
That's we have permanent, but
Yeah.
it's funny that you mentioned that because we were looking into that, and that was going to be one solution, but we took it one step further and said, you know what, let's just make it so it's easy. You just
Yeah.
install this new gate, and the new gate works for
Well,
every game.
I kind of asked that question only because I've been saying that, you know, people are complaining not to bring up the AT games, but that restrictor, try to play Pac-Man on it, it's tough. So I was like, well, why don't we just find something that slides down over the top that you can pop it off to play other games? And I think somebody
Totally.
3D printers out there,
Totally.
you need to make something so we can try it. You
Yep.
3D printers out there, the guys that have it, make something, a restrictor gate that you can slide down, and let's give it a whirl.
Why don't Glenn, you could make that. That's so easy. Why don't you do it?
Well, yeah, Glenn, make it.
I could. I can. Come on.
He could. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't start with his
He looks
heart.
around the room. Do
All
I
right.
have one lying around?
We've got Eric with us. Eric, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, doing well. The floor is yours, my man.
Good. How you doing, Eric?
All right, guys. Hey, quick question. So there was a lot of chat flying tonight. I know there's a lot of people on the show tonight, but a lot of chat about where's that driving game? What's the driving game? So I've posted a failure of an attempt to try to get a Spy Hunter cabinet made. I know people are talking Cruising USA, Mock. There's a bunch of stuff. So all night we saw a bunch of stuff flowing through the chat about a driving game, whether it's stand-up, cockpit side, whatever it is. Is there any plans in the next year, 18 months to do something like that?
Yes. There are plans. There are plans for shooting games and driving games and all that stuff. When are those products happening? Just stay tuned. But of course, we're looking into it. So in terms of what games are going to be on there,
game.
they could be any. It could be. I can't say anything. I'll stop there.
Yep. All right. I'm pushing the button, John.
But yes,
all right, then
we are looking into driving games.
We need a retro buzz platformer game from Arcade 1-Up starring Steve, Doug, and myself. That's what we need.
And then a quick question on pinball. So you guys were talking, and I'm gonna obviously I'm a pinball fanatic too, beyond retro gamer. I'm gonna be buying the Star Wars machine. Talking about Mars Attacks, I've heard a couple of rumors. There's any possibility of an Addams Family standalone machine as well?
Which one? I couldn't get that.
Addams Family.
Addams Family. So here's the thing. Addams Family is an IP owned by Stern. All right. And so far, our agreement, we have an exclusive deal with Zen Studios. So the only way that we can get an Addams Family standalone game is if Stern works directly with Zen Studios.
Cool.
Okay.
Any other question, Eric? We got Lewis waiting here in the queue.
No,
you're happy. You're welcome
you're
welcome to call back in too.
Yeah, very cool. No, thank you very much. I just want everyone to look at that beautiful thing that Glenn has on that bar stool right behind him. An amazing achievement. I wish you would sell them out. That's it. Other than that, you guys have a good night tonight.
Yeah.
All right, Eric.
Appreciate it.
Maybe I can
Okay,
convince
good.
Arcade
Thanks
1-Up
for
to
coming
work
on the
with
show,
me.
man.
We can make these little bad boys.
Yeah. What's
It's like the size of our countercades, though.
But it's
All right, we've got Lewis coming
Thank you,
on here. Lewis Chambers from the chat room here. Let me get him pulled up here. There he is in all his mysteriousness. Lewis, can you hear us?
Look at that. Brooding.
Yes, I can.
All right, cool, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Floor
Good to be
is
here.
yours.
Hey,
What do you want to
Lewis.
ask the guys?
Well, basically, I just wanted to ask a few things that I know that were coming up in chat, and either David or John can field this if they want. I know a lot of people are curious about the possibility of a cabinet for driving, like pole position, road blasters, things along that line. Any word from either one of you Is that being researched right now?
Okay, you want me to take this?
You must have
David?
just missed the last question. Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So pole
Just
position,
asking about
I
the
like pole position a lot, but I personally don't think it holds up well. If you play the game right now, I mean, it's all right. It's not like a great game. If we were to do pole position, there's actually some licensing issues with pole position itself. If you look at the
Billboards.
all the tracks, they're official tracks like Fuji and Suzuki and all that stuff that you likely can't put in. So if you can't put those nuances in the game, I think you lose a lot of the original, I guess, DNA of the game. So if we're to make compromises, I just probably wouldn't release it, or we wouldn't release it as that way if we had to make compromises with that game. There's also a lot of advertisements that that happen in the game that would have to be pulled out, and so if we have to get to the point where we're taking all this stuff out of pole position, then I don't know. I wouldn't be a fan of that. But if it was an extra game that you kind of paired with maybe like Ridge Racer and the Ridge Racer series, then that's a possibility, right? For Road Blasters, which was an Atari Games title that's now owned by Warner. Road Blasters is cool. You'd have to change the steering wheel look of it. I think Road Blasters are using. Glenn, correct me if I'm wrong. Road Blasters is using the yoke, right?
It's a modified yoke. There's extra
modified
buttons
yoke
on it
from Star Wars, right? So there's
Correct,
a few
that's correct.
games. There's a few games that use that yoke, and maybe even for an online edition, because I don't think we'd be able to sell just Road Blasters and a few of those games that use that yoke as a steering wheel in mass retail. I don't know if that will sell, but possibly if we can bundle a bunch of those games that use that yoke and sell it online, like for a player's choice cabinet, then that's a possibility. But we are looking into all the licenses that make sense. So, our first driving game needs to be what I call a AAA driving game.
Right. I think maybe
Okay,
for
yeah.
like a Road Blasters, what he's talking about also is perhaps in the future, like they kind of did with Burger King. Burger King. Oh my God. Burger Time. Ah,
He's getting
but
hungry.
I think if people were to pre-order enough of them for like it'd be just a Road Blasters cabinet, possibly in the future they would do something like that. But I think what he's saying right now, from a standpoint of what their goal is right now, to have a machine that's kind of a couple of games on it from a manufacturer, it doesn't jive now. But in the future, maybe it'll change. Maybe they'll have a gold edition Road Blasters cabinet. They get 5,000 people to pre-order it. Maybe they could do something like that. Because like they do have the Star Wars yoke, it would be a small modification to it, but it is tooling and time. So maybe in the future, who knows? Maybe start a petition. Petitions do things.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think there's about 4 or 5 games that use the yoke. Road Blasters being one of them. And if the community puts their money where their mouth is, and we can get up to 3,000 units, then we can do a player's choice cabinet possibly.
Excellent.
Now, John, would you say that's kind of like your point for something like that? Like if you had like 3,000 pre-orders, that would make it arcades worth of their time to try and make a cabinet like that? Is that
I think that's a sweet spot.
recoup it?
I think that's a sweet
Okay.
spot. Like, it allows us to offer a price point that's not over $500 because of economies of scale. And so I think 3,000 is kind of the number where, we'll do it. I know there's been talks of should we do Smash TV or should we do Tapper and all that stuff. I mean, sure, but then it's we take a lot of risk of developing titles, and if they don't sell, I mean that's bad for our business. Yeah. So again,
investment and then the brand.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, right now, you have to work with the retailers, and basically those buyers really only know a certain amount of games. So they really know only the real AAA games. And even if you say Double Dragon, a lot of these buyers don't even know what Double Dragon is. It's just a lot of those times where we have to educate people. I'll give you an example. Final Fight was supposed to be a part of the initial launch, right? but because a lot of the buyers, the retail buyers, didn't know what Final Fight was, it was delayed. But when they started seeing a lot of the buzz in the community saying we want Final Fight, then that was re-released. So the community definitely dictates a lot of what we release in the retail space.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. We need a Marble Madness cabinet. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Marble Madness.
Well, it is an Atari game and it's a trackball game, so they do have potentially both of those.
Well, think about it
They
this
work
way.
with
So
Atari.
if you, it's Atari Games. It's two different companies. You have Atari Corporation, where they develop games like Millipede, Centipede, Missile Command, right? But Atari Games is a different entity that was bought by Midway, which was also bought more recently by Warner Brothers. Well, not recently. And so you can't mix and match usually publisher games. So even it's called Atari Games, it's a totally different company than Atari Corporation. So if we were going to do a Marble Madness, you'd have to find other rollerball games to play with Marble Madness. And when I'm looking at the game list, I'm not seeing much. Glenn, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see many other rollerball games that I could put with Marble Madness.
What about bowling?
Yeah,
Any of the bowling games?
That.
So bowling games for Atari games, I don't know of any. And if you can give me suggestions, right?
I think there's an old black and white one from 1974.
No, that was football.
Hot Cellar.
No, they had football. They did a football, but I think they had a very primitive bowling game. But the football was.
It's a black and white though. It's a black and white game, right?
Like that.
You know it's bad when Glenn calls it primitive.
Oh yeah.
Well, you know it's pretty old when Glenn calls it primitive.
All right, real quick. I don't mean to be the mediator here, but David has to jump shortly. Do you have any other questions for him, Lewis? Real quick before he has to.
Where are you going, David? Canada? They don't have like a lockdown provision in Canada
for David or John.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go for it.
Dinner, man.
Well, what I wanted to ask was with the cancellation of E3 this year, and I know things are kind of touch and go right now just because of COVID-19 and everything. I was wondering what would be the possibility of Arcade 1-Up having their own convention in New York, something for the fans. I was actually discussing this with someone before all of this even hit, and I thought it was a great idea. What do you guys think?
That's a good idea. I think that's a good idea from 30,000 feet, but our business plan right now is reflecting. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yep.
My business plan or our business plan, right now is reflecting this is happening over an extended period of time. So, think Apple announcement, Nintendo announcement. Unfortunately, we're losing the trade shows, but we're still going to come out with our blockbuster show stealing mentality where we announce all these new products. So I don't know if an event, so to speak, is going to be in our near future. But definitely, if things blow over in the next couple of weeks, maybe in the next couple of months, that we could definitely do like a fan convention or something like that. But that's
that's what I was thinking. Something far out, probably August, something to that effect.
That'd be pretty cool.
We'll have to see. But that's a good idea, though. Thank you for suggesting it.
Any other questions for him, Lewis? You got both of their ears.
No, that's
got to go to the washroom.
That's pretty much it right now. There's only one other question, and I think there's only one other question. I was thinking John might be better suited to answer it. Just wanted to ask because I know that it comes up repeatedly in the fan group and on YouTube.
Is it about girls?
The possibility of Arcade 1-Up. It's about Killer Instinct, actually.
Killer Instinct.
Killer Arcades actually put out a video about Killer Instinct and the possibility of Arcade 1-Up doing it. And he actually put forth some very strong arguments because Code Mystics actually did Killer Instinct for the Xbox One and also did the custom emulator for Star Wars. And I thought that's actually like really good reasoning. What do you say?
Wow.
He says nothing.
Wow. That's some great research.
They're stunned.
Yeah.
That's some great research. Could we do it? Of course. I mean, we have the capability to do it because we work with Code Mystics, who's done a great version of Killer Instinct, and I would love to see a cabinet with Killer Instinct 2, and maybe Double Dragon, and versus Battletoads, but I don't know. Will it happen? Who knows? I'll tell you, we're looking into a whole bunch of games, and so nothing's off the table. You like that answer, David?
Okay, great.
Yeah, that was a good one, dude. That was a PR answer. I like that one.
Well, Lewis, hey man, we really appreciate you.
Sometimes he plays by the rules.
We appreciate you jumping on, Lewis. Anything else?
Thanks,
If not,
Lewis.
we'll let you go, and we're
Nope,
gonna have to let David
that's
go.
it.
All right, man. Well,
Thanks for the call.
thanks for
Have a good
calling
night.
in. David, I know you said you have to jump too.
Don't
Yeah,
you know
man,
you always go
it's been a
before the
long
show
week for
starts?
everyone. I've had like a smoothie to eat all day. It's like 8 p.m. Eastern time.
I hear
Man's
you.
got to eat. Got some family responsibilities. I haven't gone to the washroom in like 4 hours, so gonna have to wrap this one up. It's been a pleasure though. Thank you so much for having me here, guys.
Appreciate
right,
you coming
David.
on.
You take care.
Cheers.
All right.
John, be
Have a good
good.
night.
All right.
Okay.
No, now it's time.
Now we
Now
can
it's
really
time.
talk.
John
Now you
is
guys can
here.
ask. You can ask me anything because I'm on my third shot.
Real talk.
All right. If anybody else wants to jump in,
Oh,
we have. John's like, oh. If anybody wants to jump in, we can get you. We can get you up on there as well.
Hey-
we have an
hey,
open
John.
spot.
what's up?
Quick question with
up, Angel?
the situation the situation that's going on with this Corona thing, and it looks like a
Mm.
lot of your products might hit the market during the holiday season. Are you guys actually thinking of holding something back, or you guys are gonna actually swamp the holidays with all your stuff? Because I'm ready to give you my credit card, my wallet, and my home.
I'll tell you what. We're living in a new world now, right? The world as we know it is forever changed, and I think one thing that is going to become
I
more
agree.
popular is home entertainment. So, the one thing that I do like about our cabinets is because they really encourage local play and community play in one area, and as well as we're starting to get into online play. So to answer your question, no, we don't see us slowing down anytime soon. We just got to wait for the Chinese factories to start ramping up.
Floodgates are going to be open.
Yep.
Yes.
And
definitely.
we'll make sure to sanitize all of those cabinets that are out.
If you guys out there, I put the link in there a few times. You guys can jump on if you got questions for John D. We'll probably only go for another 5 or 10 minutes yet because
Yep.
I need to eat some dinner. I haven't eaten nothing all day since breakfast.
Let John finish his next drink. That's when it gets exciting.
So, is there any other questions from the chat that hasn't been answered? Because I can answer those.
Doug, do you see anything in there? I know you've been typing away, so I'm assuming you're answering some questions as well.
Oh,
I'm
maybe
trying.
can I-
It's literally blowing through.
I know it's hard. I can't keep up. It's too
David
far away.
Deming says, "How about Donkey Kong?" I think we've kind of touched that.
Yeah,
one a
that's-
million times.
Nintendo's not going
yeah,
to let
that one will
that.
never happen.
Nope.
It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Let's see what else we got here.
Okay, so I have a question here from Dave Eyes. He says, ever think about selling just the cabinet and a choice of controller decks so we can add our own CPU in games? That's a great question, and we've been asked this question many times.
So like a modder's choice.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility, but there has to make a good business case for it. Plus, again, like I understand the community will add games to that, and if they can do it in a legal way, then for sure. But we can't condone that stuff. Yeah. So that's something where our publishers will get us pretty scared if we start doing things like that. However, there's ways to say, okay, maybe we, preload some of these games and we open up the system a little bit. I don't know. It's something that we're thinking about, and if we're going to do it, we've got to do it with the right way that benefits both our consumers as well as our business partners.
The only
That's
thing
as
I can
honest I
think
can
of
get.
is on like the monitor itself having a Raspberry Pi, hat that it could attach to. It's your regular machine, and same with the control panel. But again, it's not hard to mod it anyway. So I don't see why Arcade 1UP would go down that path. They don't really need to do that. The person could do it themselves. Because like John said, they deal with the manufacturers, the property holders of these IPs, and they have to have a very good relationship with them. And if people are modding these, most likely they don't have the legal right, quote quote, to put these other games on here like Donkey Kong or
Right.
Zaxxon or something along those lines. So ultimately, these publishers will still look at Arcade One Up and say, listen, you're selling these cabinets here, but then you're also selling this one people are putting pirate software on. So I don't think Arcade One Up would be very advantageous to go down that path. They don't need to. If you wanted to, you could always get the regular cabinet and do it on your own. And Arcade One Up, once you purchase it, it's not up to them. But I personally, I would like to see it myself, most likely like the cocktail tables. But I just don't think for Arcade One Up it's the right move for them to go down that path.
No, not at all.
Real quick,
Not at all.
Zohar's still on the Mortal Kombat thing. He sent in a.
He's got money left. He's just throwing money like crazy.
He sent it in, and he wants to know, John, if you were listening about the Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna get some.
Yeah, Zohar's a big Mortal Kombat fan. I think every post that he puts on the fan page has to do with Mortal Kombat. Can you hear me?
Yep. Nope. We can hear you.
Okay.
I'm talking to people calling in. We've got unqualified critic Mr. David. As long as we've got his audio, there he is. Can you hear us, David? Oh, he was there. Everybody went down. Hang on, folks. It's just John and I.
Does David usually wear glasses?
Hang on, guys. I lost Glenn. I lost everybody. Hang on. They'll be back here in a second. They just all of a sudden he dropped. So I don't know if there was a quick outage. We're gonna see. Let's see. Glenn's coming back. Glenn's back.
I was just sending you a text. What is this? You just throw me out?
No, I didn't do it. It just dropped.
Yeah.
And here's David.
That was the
unqualified critic.
It's running on the Mac, right?
No, it's
running on the Macintosh.
It's actually Windows. So everybody should be back. No, it was just weirdly weird.
You're perfect.
That's why I was like, I'm hoping John and I are holding the fort down. So we got David, unqualified critics, man.
Hey, Dave,
what's up, boys?
Down there, bud.
Hey, good, man. Great show, guys. I watched the whole thing. It was awesome. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate your guys' questions and everything. Awesome. So I just have two quick questions. I know we're almost out of time, and John, you're probably gonna pass out talking all this time. But I feel like this show's gone for so long. I feel sorry for you guys. So two quick questions. One, probably so you can hear me say it. The Burger Time fix is awesome news. If there's anything you can provide on a timeline, I know my guys would love to hear it. And the second question, I don't think I've heard this asked before. What are your plans when kind of the vault of retro games is completed? So I know there's been talk of re-release of some of the older cabs, but have you ever thought about doing an SDK for new games? That's something the Evercade handheld is getting into. Have you guys talked about that at all? Is that on the roadmap, or is that different from your creative vision?
Well, right now we're just waiting for. Okay, so we're doing games from the 80s to the early 90s, right? And then when we start going into the mid 90s, you start getting to polygonal games. And right now it's emulating games like for PlayStation 1 and like GameCube and those, and arcade structures in that era. You can do it, but right now the price point doesn't allow us to do it commercially. But chips and chipsets continue to become cheaper over time. And so hopefully we'll be able to, as soon as holiday of next year, have a little bit more recent games from the mid to late 90s to the early 2000s. So that's what we're hoping to extend our roadmap. There's still other games that we haven't done. And so the ways that we extend that is possibly doing multiple games for very focused and when I say focused, very more niche games, right? And so you're going to start seeing kind of those cabinets that won't necessarily sell in retail, but will sell online. That's why our online strategy becomes all the more important So I think what we're going to do is really start making different variations of games, maybe re-releasing some games with online features.
Like Mortal Kombat.
Yes, like Mortal Kombat.
I'm just, I listen, man. He's in there giving a super chat. Zohar needs you to address him and say, Mortal Kombat's coming.
Yes. So I mean, like me personally, I would love to do a Mortal Kombat version where you can play online and have multiple versions of that. And then Street Fighter, I'd like to do a big blue cabinet.
Hey, there we go.
With multiple versions of Street Fighter online for that. And so yeah, so it's a combination of revisiting some of the older games, also doing a little bit different form factors, like possibly, you know, if we do a 12-in-1, maybe instead of doing the 12-in-1 outside, that will be half Centipede and half Asteroids that we have, but maybe we do a 12-in-1 with the Tempest background. Or so those are kind of things that we're looking at. We're also looking into different form factors, you know, possibly doing refrigerators and more functional furniture. But yeah, so that's all a part of the plans. Different sorts of plug and plays. So yeah, I mean, we have a good roadmap for the next few years, and I'm hoping chipsets go down so we can start doing the earlier games and more recent arcade titles.
That's twice I think you brought up that functional furniture category. It sounds like that might be a big deal for you guys going forward.
Well, yeah, because we've seen that, you know, getting into certain retailers, like what David said, our head-to-head, or I hate saying that, our cocktail table has been popular in certain retailers because they see it as furniture. Now, if we add like a refrigerator version, you know, I think that'll allow us to be in different retailers and doing cool things like that.
Yeah, that was a popular early mod, I think, people putting a refrigerator in. Okay, so the only last thing I have, and then I'll jump off here and let you go, but the Burger Time piece, so if you already addressed it and my audio cut out, I apologize, but do you have any idea for timeline for when that fix will be out?
Yeah, so well, here's the thing. I think we're going to make an announcement within the next week. And the only reason why we're holding off on the announcement is because we wanted to make sure that we ourselves knew the timeline for it. So we just don't want to say, hey, we're going to do it. We want to say, hey, we're going to do it, and you guys will be able to receive the solution within the next few weeks or things like that. So it's happening. Hopefully within the next week.
That's faster than I would have guessed. So that's A+ on as far as I'm concerned. Awesome.
And I think
Take care.
Thank you.
Hey, David.
Hey, David. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks for coming, David.
Hey, thanks, fellas.
Thanks, David.
And we have coming back in here real quick. I know we said we were going to end up or soon here, but we've got Eric coming back in. I guess he's got another question, so I'm going to send him over to the studio here. We'll get him pulled up and see what his question is.
So we got a super chat from. I was just gonna say super chat from Sean Powers. Says people are running out of room. Something needs to definitely come out with more versatility, and I think that kind of lends to that whole functional furniture idea.
Yep.
No, I agree. John didn't solve my problem last time when I told him about this, so you know, I'm still waiting for him to solve my problem with more room.
If we're talking about space, I think I have the hat in that one.
This is true. I will say that you have no space. I could probably get rid of some furniture if my life lets me.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. As we're going through different versions of games and we're revisiting older games, you're going to start seeing like with Pac-Man, right? Pac-Man at first came out with 2 games. Then you see it come out with 4 games. And then pretty soon you're going to see it with multiple games. So you're going to be able to consolidate if you'd like. So if you had a Galaga and a Pac-Man cabinet, you know, maybe you want to save space and you can buy, you know, a cabinet that includes both and sell the other 2. That's an option. So we are starting to see with our older games, we're going to start putting a little bit more games in one to help people save space and consolidate.
Good.
Sounds good.
Eric, my man, what do you got for us?
I know everyone's hungry. Can
You're
we
fine.
please just see can Glenn just please hold up and show that beautiful thing that he made tonight? I know it's not but can we just see this thing? Listen, I'm very excited. Like Glenn, I'm going to be 43 years old when they do these mini consoles, and I'm going to buy every single one of them. Because I'm going to buy one to just hang out in my office or in the home, and then another one to play. We need to have this. This is ridiculous that this exists. It's gorgeous. I mean, come on, guys. This is dedication in life. I love it. Love it.
Is this called Arcade One Glenn?
This is the Entex Adventure Glennyvision. This is the Glennyvision.
The Glennyvision.
I've only seen one of those in my life. I've only seen one of those. I've never gotten to play it. It didn't work.
Well, the thing is, when these first came out in '82, it came out right before the crash. So this was selling for about $80 in '82, and they made 4 games for it. It came with Defender, and then the crash happened in '83, and these got. I remember this at Toys R Us with all 4 games for like $30. I didn't buy it. Now to find one like this, I call him my frenemy. He's a frenemy of mine, Matthew Barlett. He buys them on eBay before I can get my hands on it. They go for about $2,000 to $3,000 a piece nowadays, and not in this kind of condition. So you went from something that was $80. This is the Holy Grail machine. If you could find one of these that are real, this is obviously one I built myself, and I think I couldn't spend $3,000, although I could, but I couldn't. So I decided just to make my own.
But when
it's beautiful.
I saw pictures online. I don't see a big difference. It looks almost identical, man. It's perfect. It's fantastic. Great job.
I really thank you for that. And of course, if I do this real quick here, actually I can't even get it on here right now. I'm doing a video on this one over the weekend, so I'll show it to you how this thing all works. But I appreciate that. It was I had some help. I'm not going to lie. 3D printing. I got STL files from Gary, a friend of mine, and the actual case. He will not let me reveal who it is, so it's going to be a mystery who made the case.
So
everything else in there was me.
There's one problem with this cabinet.
My face is in it. Oh, hold on.
No. I'm just gonna call it out right now, Glenn. You only have one of them.
Yes.
I know. Well, I'm hoping.
Insert the Vader.
No. Well, I'm going to admit, I have been trying for the past 20 years to try and get one of these for real. I'm still not giving up on it. I'm just not going to spend $2,000 on something that literally it's the cheapest thing ever. If you guys don't know about this is a grandfather of the Virtual Boy. This is the Virtual Boy's grandfather, okay? It uses 40 LEDs on this side, and the whole screen is a spinning mirror. And this mirror just spins to simulate a picture. And the Virtual Boy has a lot more LEDs. I'll go about that in the video. But that's all this thing is. It's a motor, a mirror, LEDs, and even the cartridge slot is a bare socket. You just take the chip and it sits in the socket. So it's the cheapest thing ever. So I can't spend that kind of money on it, but I also had to have something like that.
So
and I know I'm boring John D. I'm sorry.
No, that was great. I love it.
I was just gonna say, John, how many of these are you guys gonna be manufacturing?
Thing that he did though, it's beautiful.
I am going to steal that design.
Thank you so much.
And make money for Arcade One Up.
I was just gonna say you're gonna make a replica of that, right, John?
Yep.
See, I knew it.
No, actually, it's really interesting. It's really interesting.
It is.
And I want to make a replica of the Vectrex. How is that?
Oh, don't get him started. Don't get him started.
I know. I told you. I knew that would press his button right there.
The Vectrex again. Now I'm going to babble on that one too.
Oh my goodness.
It also came out in '82. It came in '82, and the crash happened in '83. The Vectrex was a phenomenal machine that never had this didn't have a chance, and the Vectrex didn't have a chance. Even the ColecoVision came out in '82. Well, '81, '82. Great machine. It had a huge thing in front of it, and the crash happened. So I do hope that Arcade One Up does make a Vectrex, and I do hope. I'll tell you, man. I'll be in the city, man. You tell Scott I'm on the way down, John. I'll bring this to him.
Beautiful.
This is really a good machine.
It is beautiful.
You know what to say now. It's done them.
But I don't know how many people remember that machine.
It doesn't matter, man. I remember.
Yeah.
You know what?
We'll make 10.
People will buy it because
I was only 3 years old, so
there's only 500,000 made. Everyone will be they'll love it. Listen,
I mean, you
I'll
got
tell you one of
5 to
Well,
10
that was-
sold in already.
nonstop
These are
money
the
with
4
Arcade One Up.
games:
I can't stop.
Defender, Turtles, Super Cobra, and Space Force was Asteroids.
Okay.
Wait,
And
they
to
had
be honest,
they had Ninja Turtles back then?
they had
No.
Turtles.
That's
No
what I
ninja.
just said. Ninja Turtles. You had
No,
Ninja Turtles
There's
back then.
no ninja in that, man. This is Turtles. Get with the program.
No.
I don't know.
I apologize for calling in. That's why I called in today. But John D, thank you for.
Up. Glenn crashed it again, John. Give me a break. That was wild. Hang on a second. John, are you still there?
Yep. Yes.
You're still
I
there,
am.
but your video's frozen. So I just wanted to make sure.
Oh.
Okay, nope, you're moving
What happened
now.
now?
You're moving now.
Okay.
Yeah. So Glenn's
Right.
Glenn's gonna get mad. He's gonna be like, "You ditched me again." That was wild. That just all of a sudden it just tanked. Hang on, guys. We'll get everybody back. Here he goes. He's gonna go on his rant. You ready? Here he comes.
There you go.
Here we
I
go.
shouldn't get him
Boom.
going with like Vectrex and all that stuff.
Yeah, you got him going, and now, like I said,
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. The Vectrex would sell. You know it would sell.
Yes.
Mini Vectrex.
We know it would sell.
Sorry about that.
Actually, a mini bobblehead of Steve, Doug,
There
and
you
me would sell too.
There you go.
We need Funko
Man,
Pops.
This Corona's messing you up, Steven.
I didn't. No. I think it's just sometimes like the bandwidth gets overwhelmed and it just crashes.
The
The
Mac
system.
can't handle it. I know.
It's actually on Windows, but just about all actually just about like the TriCaster and the neural net is Windows. But I'll have to have John look. John, the guy that owns the company that makes the video conferencing, I'll have him look at the logs and see what happened because 2 weeks ago he updated the software, so there could be a bug in there or two. I mean, it happens. So, we are going on
So,
3 hours here.
John D, how are your kids and everything? How is everything going out in your area?
Wow. So my area, the San Francisco Bay Area, was the first to really enact the whole stay at home unless it's essential. So we've been doing that for the past week, and coincidentally, it's been my kids' birthdays this week. So we've had to do some, creative birthday parties inside the house with social distancing. Today is my daughter's 11th birthday, so I did a little scavenger hunt
Happy birthday.
for her.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you
birthday.
so much. Yeah. So we did a little scavenger hunt, and then we just gotta sort, work through this. Everyone's going through it now. The whole entire state of California aren't allowed to go out unless it's for essential reasons. But you know what? I've been traveling a lot lately, as you guys can see if you're my Facebook friends. Been traveling almost every other week.
You probably don't
It's good
care.
to be. For me, it's
Yeah,
good
you're
that
happy
I
to
can
be
spend
home.
time with the family, and really just
You're
focus
probably like,
a lot on them.
who's that guy?
Yeah.
Mommy, who's that guy?
And then,
now?
I've been able to play video games with my kids.
Yep.
My son's getting pretty good at NBA 2K, and so we're playing a lot of that. And I'm teaching my daughter how to do different patterns on Pac-Man. So it's been kind of fun spending time with the family.
That's something I would say to people out there too. If you got kids, now's the time. You have this downtime. I took my daughter out Sunday and taught her how to fire the grill up, throw some hot dogs on the grill.
Yep.
Just teach them some things that you wouldn't have normally had time or you don't make time to do. I think that's something you can do, and I agree with you.
Yeah,
We've been doing that.
That's a great idea. I'll probably do that next week and teach my kids how to barbecue. I love that idea.
Yeah, I mean it's a life. It's something. I mean, if you not to be doom and gloom, but if something happened to you, they got to. At least she knows how to cook something. I mean,
Right.
she knows make sandwiches and stuff, but teach them life. That's the best teacher, man.
Yep.
All right,
My son knows how to cook. He's been playing the chef game on his phone for a while.
Ah,
Now they want
Fruit Ninja?
they want A1 Up to make carts, kind of like Glenn's little cabinet. That's what the super chat says.
The reason why we went from carts to CDs, right?
Yeah.
Because it was
Yeah.
so expensive to create.
Yeah, but things always come full circle. Now they've come cheap again. I could buy 256 gigabyte micro SD card for $30. I know it's still a lot more than you guys pay, but they've come down in price.
Yeah, I guess you could do a certain solution where you can put games in storage versus having a chipset in each of the cartridges. I think that's a possibility.
They
I
have
like that.
Make it look like a faux cartridge.
they,
Yep,
Right.
it'd be a faux cartridge that basically has a, removable flash in there.
they have
Oh,
something like
good
that.
idea.
It's called the Switch.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Yep.
It
Eric,
all started
man.
with the Fairchild.
Arcade One
Fairchild
doing
Channel F.
awesome stuff though. Arcade One Up is like just I can't believe what from the first time I heard it. Like I said, my first introduction to all you guys was through Cool Toy.
Oh,
What's
so it's
been
your
going on
fault.
the last year plus is amazing.
Thanks, Cool Toy.
No, it's amazing though. It's amazing. Like, and I sit here with 6 cabinets behind me. Another one coming on the way. NBA Jam is like I can't. It's unreal to me. And it bothers me when I see some of the chat with like, oh, this with the joystick. I have no problems, and I don't want to sound cheesy about this, but I worked in an arcade in the 90s. When I play with my kids on these machines and we just have a good time, it's not sitting on a headset, and I love that too. Don't get me wrong, but we're interacting together. It's fun. I had the Super Bowl party here this year. Everyone had a blast. We're playing Mortal Kombat all night. This is like we're going back 25 years. It's fantastic what you're doing. It's forget about the nostalgic and everything else, and even the stuff like you know what my favorite machine is, my Galaga machine. That's one of the first games I played in an arcade. You know that inspired. You guys are doing cool stuff for families. It's freaking and friends. It's awesome. It really is awesome, man.
Thank you so
I love
much.
it. I'm on board. And for $200, you go to dinner for $100. For $200-300 for a cabinet, I don't want to hear anybody that this isn't a good deal for these things. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, here's the thing: like retro gaming, like Centipede. I mean, they've had so many versions of Centipede from mobile to different consoles, but it's not the same when you're playing with a controller versus playing with a real trackball, right? And so now, like I remember, I love Karate Champ, but when people who never played the original Karate Champ, they're playing a controller, they think the game sucks. But when they play with the dual sticks, they understand, the appeal to it. This is really how we used to play it. It was the control schemes were there for a reason, and I'm glad that Arcade One Up can provide this solution where you can authentically play these games in the way they're meant to be played. And retro gaming is here to stay. It's like it's one of those things from the 80s and 90s that are now it's our turn. Like music is coming back from the 80s and 90s now, like retro gaming, all these memories that we have now is coming back, and we're glad to be a part of that resurgence and have people in our age group have another hobby to have,
But if you really think about it, if you really think about it, back then when you went to the arcades, you played to have fun. You didn't play to critique the cabinet, the arcade, or the game.
Absolutely.
You went in there. If you're putting money in a machine, you're putting money in to have fun and play, not to sit there and complain about.
Listen,
or pixels.
I've said this too, and I know John was busting my chops a little bit earlier about the Toy Shock, but you know what? We have people over all the time. We have a bunch of young families and couples that hang out with us, and everyone, they run, like the one guy's into golf, so he runs to the Golden Tee game, and he will play that nonstop for like 2 hours, no lie. He'll stand there and he'll play it. He'll eat pizza while he's standing there playing it. That is like his game. I think he's got more initials on there than I do, and I'm pretty good at the game. Not once did anybody say, "Oh, this trackball sucks," or "Oh,
well,
the cabinet's like this."
Greasy with the pizza,
right?
Greasy with the pizza.
But I'm saying nobody's sitting there going, "Oh, these buttons aren't sandwall buttons, or these sticks aren't hap sticks, or anything like that."
But you know
Nobody
what?
has said
They're
that.
not going to, because you know why?
They're having fun.
The only people who are saying that are people who like the arcade purists. They're the only ones really saying that.
I get it. I
Most
do
people
get it.
come play these.
I don't understand that. This is an affordable. This is the same. Like when Cool Toy, hooked up the thing when he puts a link. He's like, "Hey, Ninja Turtles up for sale." I got that Ninja Turtle cabinet. I was right back to Corky's Pizza and where I'm from in Jersey, sitting there playing that Ninja Turtle cabinet with all my buddies, pumping cords into that, which we didn't have to, or stealing from like our parents' toll money going up the Parkway. And my kids are playing this now. And it's one of the to win Turtles in Time. Forget about it. The first one's great too. Don't get me wrong. My kids and I, we beat Turtles in Time. We're sitting there high five when they're doing pizza powers. It's I can't put a freaking fantastic for freaking three. And when people are complaining about price, it makes no sense to me. Whatever it is, I'm not paying $4,000 for it. I can't put a price tag. So I'm not being cheesy about anything at all, but it's just, I love games, and I don't know. I'm just that's me for tonight. I'm getting a little soft tonight, but
No, I mean, it's
it
great
really
what
is
you're saying. It's definitely great what you're saying, and your sentiments shared by everyone in our community. I mean, you look at the Arcade One Up fan page, and people have multiple machines and sharing their experiences, and this gives us, like you said, a real solution instead of having to buy $5,000 machines that weigh 500 pounds, because that's not feasible for us. But to now be able to have this in our home and have multiples. I mean, I think it's a great business. I'm glad to be a part of it, and all the controls. I mean, we have gamers here, and we make sure that the controls are right. And if they're not, we'll do something about it, like the Burger Time instance. But I remember like when Street Fighter came out, and they weren't Sanwa, but I'm a pretty good Street Fighter player, and I was able to pull off all the combos on our Sanwa clone buttons and joysticks. But again, if you want the real stuff, and Sanwa wasn't real, it was actually HAP at the time. You can upgrade those and do what you want. But yeah, I'm really excited now with all these games that we are going to start releasing, and people go, wow, I remember playing this and that in the arcade. And yeah, it's really just reliving our childhood experiences.
It is, because those were just really good times as kids. They were good times, good memories. I had so many, just like I said, pizzerias back in the days where you went, and you just go in there. It sticks with you, and you want that good feeling to go to your kids. Try and bring that same experience to them. And every generation's got something different, but this is ours. And it's just something when you see those all lined up. It's hard to explain if you didn't experience it, or you gave it to your kid to experience. It's one of those things you had to be there for. Like the original Star Wars movies. You had to be there to really understand how bad the new one is.
There we go.
Listen, everyone, we need to have a show with him just doing Star Wars nonstop. It's fantastic.
You know what? Let's do that,
Glenn.
Glenn's rants.
I would join that show, and I would debate with you on that. I have a lot to say about Star Wars.
That'd be great. I can prove you wrong, Don. It's
fine. So here's a quick. Sorry, go ahead, Angel.
On Glenn's defense, I did watch that last movie, and I'll tell you the truth, I was lost from the beginning to the end.
The first hour, where are they going?
You just got to watch.
You know what the real problem was they didn't have they didn't do a roadmap. They didn't have a roadmap. Abrams did the first film. He put all these things in place that might have had something good, and then they just effed it. And then in the last Jedi, just effed it all up. And then he tried to throw in way too much at the end, just way too much. So
the only thing they got right was Leia died. That's it.
Wow.
Well, you didn't like. Wait a second. You didn't like Mary Poppins Leia? Mary Poppins Leia?
Oh man.
But you're right, Glenn. The problem was, J.J. Abrams should have done all three, and if he'd done all three, it would have been a much better series. Rian Johnson came in. Yeah, basically, he set a good foundation for the first Force Awakens, and all these storylines were really cool. It's a very watchable movie. Yep. And basically, he couldn't direct the second one, and Rian Johnson just tried to make his own movie and basically cut all the storylines that we were expecting to see. And then J.J. Abrams comes here and tried to retcon everything. So that was the biggest issue. Although I still thought the last one was very entertaining.
So it is. It's entertaining. It's still not as good as the original. Not by far.
No, I don't think so. But Return of the Jedi sucked, though. Come on, that movie sucked.
It did. Yeah. It really did. No, but honestly, I'm going to rant on it now. What just bothers me about all the original characters was I don't feel that Leia or Han or Luke or Leia or Chewbacca or any of them had a good end to their story. They made it all about the new characters, and I understand that to a point. But if you're going to have a movie called Star Wars and base it off of Luke and his family's legacy, that was not what that was. It wasn't. And I'm sorry. It was just bad. I actually had no problem with Palpatine.
When you get mad, just watch Empire Strikes Back over. I've seen Empire Strikes Back, I'd say probably 400 something times. I won. There's a true story. In 1996, I got, I think, $200 at college for being able to write scene by scene and note by note every single line in that movie. For $200, I did that. It took me hours, but that's the greatest movie of all time.
It is.
It was.
I need to be
It is.
entertained too, though, and like I'll take anything though. You know what I mean? It's
But
problem,
that's kind of how I felt
agree
when
with
they
William with a lot of-
when they remade MacGyver. I'm like, I mean, honestly, it was like,
yeah, you're gonna compare Star Wars to MacGyver?
well,
Come on,
I
man.
did that to get Glenn to rant, but they crashed again.
Oh.
So hang on, I'll get him back up. Yeah, I'm. So Glenn's not here to interject me yet. I'm working on it. But yes, I'm comparing the all-time greatest
That is MacGyver.
is MacGyver.
Basically, movie based on a TV show.
Yes. No, another TV show. I'm saying it's better. It was better than Star Wars. Go, Glenn.
What
go.
was?
MacGyver.
I didn't hear what was better than Star Wars.
Yeah.
What?
That's all I heard. Was better than Star Wars, and I was immediately, what?
Come on, you're
Well, you
telling
know-
me MacGyver's not better than Star Wars.
New
MacGyver's
MacGyver
a
or old
TV.
MacGyver?
That's a TV show. First of all, I never
Hang
watched
on.
it
Let me
before.
get him full screen so he can go bananas. Hang on.
MacGyver number one was a TV show, and I guess if you can believe that some guy can take a paperclip and disable a nuclear warhead
And duct
save
tape.
the universe, and duct tape, that's fine. Now, if you're going to say what Battlestar Galactica, I'll put up against Star Wars. The original 1978 Battlestar Galactica, I will put up against Star Wars.
Gross.
Lord of the Rings is better than Star Wars.
Lord of the Rings,
my
Lord of the
goodness.
Rings, that was good.
Lord of the Rings trilogy
was
as a whole
damn
is
good.
better than the original.
I just-
And I'm not
just
a
immediately thought
huge
of
Lord of the Rings fan, but it's
Part
a
Two in the
better
argument.
trilogy than Star Wars.
The true trilogy.
MacGyver. Come on now. MacGyver.
Steven, use that
I
duct
know it.
tape to keep us on.
Actually, if you're going
You
with
got
that, I think the
Gorilla
Debbie
tape.
Does
That's
Dallas
that's
series
Gorilla tape.
trumped them all.
Wait, you
He's
said
gonna be-
what?
Dallas,
He's bringing porn
Debbie
trilogies
Does
from the
Dallas, Debbie
70s.
Does Dallas Returns, Debbie Does Everyone.
Oh,
whatever.
here we go.
That outdid them all. So if you're gonna go down that path, I'm
So,
going right to the top.
We're gonna wrap this up here.
I think this is a good place where we wrap up the
We're gonna
show.
wrap it up, but I want to ask the
Yeah.
guys in the chat room real quick. How do you like this format for post show, where we get everybody on the screen like this, have call-ins, where we're obviously we want to keep this interesting for you guys. Do you like that we do this, or would you just rather us can it after the hour and say
No
That's
one's
we love
left.
it.
There's no one on the chat.
No, I
They
love it.
all
what do you mean
left.
there's nobody left?
love
There's
it.
like 70 people on YouTube, and I don't know.
That should give you the
Why? I love
answer.
it.
We
I
lost
love it.
everybody.
Well, that's
Yeah.
I just want I want to see what people want, and if people like. I think it's cool to have the call in.
We are officially
There's
called the
more people
Retro
on the
Bunch.
after than the there was 66 when I left. There's more people on the after show.
Ah, okay,
This
there
is
you go.
When things
You're
get
doing
wild.
the Retro Bunch.
Well,
right
you know
now.
what?
It's only because I came on.
I was just gonna say.
Oh yeah. It's either you or get off my lawn gaming. Either one of these two get on. We're gonna-
Oh,
No,
you need to bring him back on.
Your brand ambassador.
You need to bring him back on.
yeah.
The unofficial ambassador.
Your brand
Hey, John
ambassador.
D. John D. He used that line on me, and I kind of fell for it, and he got a free marquee out of that. So you better make me the ambassador next time.
Oh man, here we go.
You better make me the ambassador on that one.
No, we want to keep doing it, especially with the way everything's going. Oh, is that John?
We lost him.
We lost John. John, are you back?
I hope.
Yes, I'm back, and Glenn's right. The original Star Wars was better.
Maybe they in San Francisco they cut his power.
John, I appreciate you disagreeing with me and telling the whole community. That was great, John. Thank you so much for admitting you were wrong. I appreciate it.
He might be still
He's
there.
frozen.
Let me go
He's
let me
frozen.
go check. Hang on.
I also
that
agree,
does-
Glenn, that the TurboGrafx 16 will trump the Genesis. So,
Oh, now you're just
he
being
laughed.
silly.
Oh,
Now he's gonna.
Listen, I'm a big Genesis guy. TurboGrafx 16 is okay. Take it easy, guys. With like Genesis, I'm talking about. Come on,
Don't
Well,
worry.
I'm
It's
assuming-
like
Sonic alone.
Yeah.
John's
I
back.
assume you like
TurboGrafx
sports
is okay.
games. If you like sports games, I totally.
John's
see
here.
that.
How about
Right there he is.
NHL? I mean, come on, NHL. Come on.
Boom.
He waited till I walked all the way over there, and then he was on.
Steve used
We're
that
talking about
duct tape to
TurboGrafx
fix it.
16 versus Sega. I mean,
Oh, you
TurboGrafx
already.
16
It's
was
okay. You
okay.
don't have to say it again. You already admitted
It's
it.
okay.
I get it. We appreciate it too.
No, it's okay.
Oh man.
It's okay. I'm always a Sega fanboy. I worked there for 2 stints, so
There you
Sega
go,
will
John.
always be in my
There you
heart.
go, John.
That's
There
You were
go, John.
doing
is
was
that the
game
At Games
testing?
one?
No, that's
This
not
one's
the At
the,
Games one because I have the
Yeah,
At Games
if that's
one.
the At Games one, just like put that in the trash.
Wait, I have the
That's
the
the
At
pie
Games
case.
one, and mine don't look
No, that's
like
the
that.
Raspberry Pi case.
That's a pie
pie
case.
case.
Oh, pie case. All right, because I was gonna say.
But
Oh,
I have
okay.
I have the
Got it.
mini somewhere still in the box.
I actually have
Nice.
their 4-port USB hub Genesis that you can actually put a Raspberry Pi in if you kind of hack it a little bit.
Yeah, I've
But
seen that.
the Genesis, I'm just teasing a lot. I like Sega. I just
Hey,
like some of the
John,
games on the TurboGrafx better.
Yeah.
That's all.
I just picked up a Sega Saturn.
Oh yeah, what games did you get with it?
I got Knights, and I have the 3-pack that originally it came with, but they still sold it to me. The one with the Daytona King of Fighters 2, and then I got Gex. I bought Gex. It's all complete. Boxes for the Saturn, everything.
Yeah, I
There's
wish
so
I had-
many good games for that system. Get a Panzer Dragoon. That's a good one.
Yeah, I did a soft mod to it so I could play copied games,
Yep.
backup games. So I do have Panzer Dragoon Saga, all 4.
Yep.
I have Magic Knight Ray Earth.
Nice.
So
There's a lot of good fighting games from Sega there. Not just the Virtua Fighter series, but you have Last Bronx. There's a Virtua Fighter Remix. There's a whole bunch of good games on that system.
yeah, no, it's pretty good. I was playing what's the other one? Bug.
Oh yeah,
Looks
Bug.
pretty good.
That was okay.
Bugs. I
It was okay.
I thought it
I
was.
liked it. Okay.
Yeah, it was all
That'd be
right.
all right.
It was all right.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, you got to get Panzer Dragoon if you don't already have it.
Yes.
Yes.
Panzer Dragoon for sure.
Or you can spend, was it like $500 for the sequel?
I have I have the sequel. I have Panzer Dragoon Saga with all 4 discs.
Nice.
And I have Magic Knight Ray
Oh,
Earth.
you got to get the Marvel Capcom fighting games with the extra RAM card. Those were amazing.
Well,
Those were amazing.
actually-
X-Men versus Street Fighter. That
Yeah,
was
the
an
best way to
amazing
play.
port.
I
At
think
home,
I
anyway.
think I have about 80 games right now for it.
Nice.
You're doing all right. That's an awesome collection.
Oh, another thing. One of my all-time favorite games is Saturn Bomberman. Get 2 multi-taps and you can play 10-player Saturn Bomberman.
Oh,
on that.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I just bought the extension
players.
cables that came today, so I could sit on my couch down here and play it, and not sit on the floor like I'm 10 years old.
Nothing wrong with that Indian style gaming.
Oh, not on this floor, man. Not on this floor. It's concrete under this carpet. That's not fun after a while. But and then I also
the
Go ahead.
Saturn's another machine never saw its prime.
oh yeah. And then I picked up the Sega Genesis. I was telling Glenn and them I got what was it, $35 shipped to the door with 3 games.
Very good deal.
3 games
Ship
and
the throne to the door because that's what they're doing now, throwing things to the door.
actually our
Wait,
mail guy,
social
he laid it on the
distancing.
thing. So
I get my medicine now delivered to me because I'm on a pick
Dang,
line.
who's blowing up
So
my
the
phone?
guy literally drops the medicine on the floor and the paperwork and then backs away with a mask on, and then I gotta sign it. And he comes back and grabs it. I'm like, really? This is the way it is now?
That's like a hostage
How you-
exchange.
How you feeling, Angel? You feeling better since 2 weeks back?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm on a pick line, so I'm like taking straight antibiotics straight to the heart. But hey, it is what it is. I mean,
Happy you're doing better.
I'm not gonna catch Corona or Heineken or any of those fucking diseases.
Well said. I love it.
Shit.
Oh, one more thing.
Heck, gentlemen.
Let me give you one last suggestion. There's a game what I love. It's called Dragon Force. It's like a real-time strategy tactics game. You're gonna love it. And I don't really like those type of games because that's the only one I go to though.
What was that? I'm sorry. People are asking me
Dragon
questions.
He froze up again, I think.
Nope, he's
Dragon Tactics. Dragon
I think he said Dragon Force.
Oh, Dragon
Dragon
Force.
Force.
Oh, I do have I think I do have Dragon Force
Yeah.
installed. Yeah, he dropped for a second. He's coming back. I do have Dragon Force. Again, these are copies that I have, but they're backups, whatever you want to call it. Because honestly, the ones that I've been buying too, I put up a shelf above my arcade 1-ups. I don't know. Let me see if I can pull up a picture. Because I don't know about you guys, but I really don't want to play 20-year-old games, even though they're kind of complete. I don't want to run the risk of them like scratching. So,
Yeah. I mean,
so
there's only so much life left in those discs anyway. You don't want to.
Well, yeah.
ruin
So
it.
that's kind of where I'm at with it. So I actually let me pull this up here real quick, and then I'll show you. I put a shelf above my arcade 1-ups up there, and put some boxes up above there, and all my
There you go.
games, lined them across the top there for my consoles.
That looks pretty nice, actually.
Yeah.
I cleaned it up
Slick.
pretty good. Something I
Easy
can do.
accessible.
Yeah, something I can do, but
Nice.
but again, I don't want to play the original discs because, like I said, it's you run the risk of them getting damaged. Or my son wants to play because obviously it's a new console, and I'm like, you're not touching him. You could play the backup. If it's scratched, I'll make another one.
Just give them a pie with the games in it, or an Android.
Yeah, but I played with the new Sonic, right? Because I have the Act Games one, and I did the little SD card in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand now why some guys say emulation versus the original, because I haven't played Sonic on the original cart in probably 15, 20 years. It is definitely different playing the cartridge versus playing an emulated ROM. You can see it, you can feel it, you can see the way everything shudders and shimmers on the screen. You don't really notice that. And I'm not trying to be a purist because it's just the feeling of the game, like you can make things work. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
The only way you're gonna get that kind of experience of the real machine is with like a Mister, where it's actually hardware recreation. It's not really emulation. The Mister is a FPGA, which is a fully programmable gate array. So the chip will actually be recreating the original physical hardware. It's not software code where running in the C programming language. So when you're running a Mister, as long as they've done it properly, they can still be bugs, they can still program it wrong. But if it's programmed properly, it would be completely indistinguishable between a real machine and it. And I think in the future, those type of FPGAs are going to be our future because eventually your Saturn, my Saturn, everything I have, these are going to break. These things will not last forever. So, and software emulation, as good as it is for us, is not the same thing as you just pointed out.
Yeah.
So I think there will become a time, may not be for another 20, 30 years. I may be dead, who knows? Maybe I'll be lucky if I am. But I think FPGAs will be the only way that people will experience a Sega Genesis or an NES, NES or an Atari or a Pong. That's going to be our legacy in time. So enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, it'll be cool. All right.
What kind of monitor are you playing on though?
I'm playing on a
CRT?
I'm playing on a flat screen, but I bought one of the Hyperkin. All the cables I buy to convert the retro consoles to
analog to digital.
Always I buy a Hyperkin. I buy it for the Dreamcast. I bought it for the Saturn, and I bought it for the Genesis. I've had a couple of the other cheaper cables, and I'm just gonna put it out. They're not paying me. I'm not sponsored. I don't get free crap from them. I've tried the cheaper cables, even though it's a couple bucks. Buy the Hyperkin. It's a better. It's a much better cable, in my opinion. But I don't have a CRT.
Unless you want to relive the old Atari days where there was more lines and static than picture.
Well, yeah, I don't have a CRT, and with everything that I run down here, I'm fine playing it on a flat screen. And I know the retro purists are gonna be like, "You're stupid. I want my scan lines," but you know what? That's just my preference, and my kid likes it, and it's just easier for me that way. So,
yeah, I got lucky. I got my hands on a 480p plasma TV.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
very
so
nice.
you can play outside of standard CRTs or the Sony, CRTs, but the 480p plasma TVs is amazing.
Wow.
Cool.
I mean, if I found one decent, it's so big, it's going to take up so much room down here.
Yep.
I just it's just easier with the HDMI switchers, and let my son, he knows everything's numbered. If he wants to play the GameCube, it's number 2. He just hits number 2 and it comes up. And it even auto does it sometimes. So,
well, you're gonna have a
nothing
lot
like
of fun
hitting
with
a
the
number
Saturn.
2.
That was a good underrated system.
No, absolutely. Well, John,
When you hit that number 2, you got this, buddy. Okay.
John, we'll give you the last word here. Go around. We'll go around the horn. But anything you want to throw out there to everybody?
Well, here's the thing. On behalf of Tastemakers and Arcade 1-Up, I really appreciate, and everyone who works with me really appreciates everyone's feedback and their passion for the products that we make. And just know that we are listening to everyone, even though sometimes it may not seem like it. We're always looking at the forums. We're always taking feedback, and we're doing our best to make sure that the experience that we deliver is the best experience possible. So I'll end it on that note. And, with this whole coronavirus thing, take advantage of it. Stay home with your kids. Stay home and do things that you've never done before, and really make good time of this, because I don't think we'll see this again in our lifetime.
I agree. Angel, what do you got for us?
No, thank you for everything. I mean, I appreciate it. And of course, yeah, stay home, stay safe, order less, eat more, whatever you got in the house. And that's it. I mean, just stay safe, guys.
I think Eric dropped off, so we'll go right over to Doug.
I was just gonna, second what everyone's already kind of talking about, sentiment wise. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy the time. Enjoy the people. Enjoy the games. Everything that's already in your life. Now's the time to really fully experience and enjoy these things while they're. Oh, somebody's taking back.
No, that's and we got Eric. We got Eric back.
Have fun.
Go ahead.
Love your friends. Love your families. That's all.
We love you.
All right, Mr. Glenn, what do you got for us?
Well, just like to say what Doug said, we're still in the middle of this thing. Try and be safe. Wash your hands as much as possible. Keep them clean. Keep them away from your face. And with all being said, yeah, spend time with your family. You guys are at home. Maybe put in a movie. As long as it's not one of the new Disney Star Wars films, you'll be fine. So, except for Rogue One. Rogue One, I actually kind of enjoyed. That one was okay. So, with that being said, seriously, just be safe. There are people out there who need sometimes help. If someone's elderly, a neighbor, just check in on them, make sure they're okay. That's it. So thanks for watching today, though.
Eric, what do you got for us? That's why I brought you back up here. You were on here for the last little bit. Anything you want to say?
Listen, fantastic show. Thank you so much for John D. And it was such a great show tonight. And you're right, guys. Enjoy time with your friends, family, whoever you may be. Play a game together, play Mortal Kombat, play Ninja Turtles together, whatever it may be. Just have a good time in life and enjoy every day. That's it. And I'm happy that I found this community, because I was always this closeted gamer, comic book. I was playing football, basketball, and baseball in high school in Jersey and stuff, and now it's out there. So I love it. It's fantastic.
We appreciate you guys calling in. Appreciate guys like you in the community. We want to let everybody know, just so you know, coming up for Easter, we will not have a show on Good Friday. I believe that's the 12th. Glenn, help me out.
3 weeks.
2 weeks, 3 weeks. Glenn?
3 weeks, I think.
Something like that. I think Easter's the 12th, or I don't know, something like that. Whatever. Friday before Easter, we're not doing a show. Everybody go spend time with your families. Maybe you'll be sick of your families by then. Who knows? But listen, all the super chats that came in on behalf of all of us, we really appreciate it all. Again, all that gets put back into making merchandise and doing things for the show. So again, we appreciate all you guys out there. So we'll see you next week. Who do we got next week, Glenn?
You always ask me that. I should probably be.
You should have. Oh, look at that. He drops off just when I go to ask the question, he drops off. Like, what is up with that? So give me a second here. I'll get Glenn back up since he decided to drop off on us here. Plus, I think he's doing this, John, just so he can figure out who our next week's, because he does all the scheduling. I do the production. Yeah. He does the scheduling. Doug will do some of the scheduling too. He sends them over to Glenn, but
that's who will be on. And that's who will be on. I'm glad you guys all heard that. I know it's gonna be a phenomenal show. You are not gonna believe it, but that's who's gonna be on the show. thanks for watching and game on, everybody.
Nice
Okay.
try. Go for it. Who's on next week? Did you remember who was on?
I do, and I want to save it for kind of a surprise that you guys are going to want to tune in for this. I don't want to give it away today, but I'll just say that you guys will want to see.
Wait. Give a
That's all I'm gonna say.
give a hint. Give a hint. Come on, you can at least give a hint.
Yeah, what was that?
Okay,
I missed
I
it.
will give it. I'll give a hint. Okay, he has done a. There's a film involved. What he's been in. There's a film involved.
Ooh. And we're still working on ETA Prime. We are trying to work
Still
on
ETA Prime, and also
Metal Jesus
Trip
Rocks.
Hawkins and Trip Hawkins. We're trying to get him on.
And
EA fame.
And it's totally slips my mind right at but Metal Jesus' best friend.
Oh, you talk about
help me out here.
He's got a lot of friends. He's got a lot of friends.
Well,
here,
the guy
but I
that
assume you're
has
talking
like
about
every
John,
game.
John Hancock.
John Hancock.
John Hancock.
Yeah.
That's who we're talking about. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure we would get John on. We also have Drunken Master Paul. He's a great guy. I'd love to get him on as well.
So we've got a bunch of people that are headed up coming on. So make sure you tune in next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Again, guys, stay safe. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll see you next time.